This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
Bless the turkey, bless the ham, bless potatoes and the yams, bless the cranberry sauce, bless the green beans and the squash. As Baconsale tears this holiday food, it's time to show some gratitude.
That was really cute. That was oddly pleasant. That was
Right?
really nice.
And usually I'm screaming or singing, so there you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was nice.
I feel wholesome.
You should feel wholesome. 'Tis the season
I feel
to feel
full.
wholesome.
Oh,
Well, I'm sorry about that.
But welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Zack.
We'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, our frozen pizza ranking show, where we ranked 25. Well, we did. We ranked 25 pizzas. We gave you the top 5, bottom 5. A lot of controversial opinions. People have their favorites.
Not only that, but Zach, are you going to mention this?
Well, what?
About the Grand War that we didn't really talk about on the
You
show?
know, there was a little bit of disappointment that we had a teaser for a teaser, but where we talked about the bagel bites versus pizza rolls.
Yeah.
And both of those brands kind of weighed in a
Paid
little
attention
bit.
to us on Twitter, so
I think
we
we're
at
basically
least
celebrities now.
Yes, our second biggest exposure next to Kate.
Yeah,
right?
seriously.
Yeah. And it's all from Totino's Pizza Rolls and Bagel Bites.
I had a couple of fun comments that I found out, including on Instagram at Verbis Vivum. Says 2 things. I grew up about 7 miles from where Tombstone pizzas are made, and my family never ate them. I wonder if it smelled bad. And Jack's isn't that bad. You just have to remove the pepperoni and add your own toppings.
Too much work.
Yeah, Joel jumps on. That's too much work.
So buy the pizza, take off the toppings, make your own.
Yeah.
Easy
So
enough.
basically just make it
You,
into
you
pizza.
remove the toppings, you add your own dough, and then you add your own cheese and sauce, and then you add your own toppings.
Delicious.
Delicious.
This is honestly one of my favorite comments of the week. Comes from Chris Anderson on Facebook, who said, #Team Zack. Thanks, Chris. If I'm going to eat pizza, I'll put my pants on and I'll go pick one up at a local pizzeria. I don't have any pizzas in my freezer, so I have to go to the store and buy one. And there's a Little Caesars in the strip mall next to my grocery store. So there we go.
Yeah.
That's the way to do
I
it.
think frozen pizza is perfect. My son, for some reason, thinks he hates frozen pizza, and I'm like, you're 11.
Yeah.
We barely have frozen pizza, and maybe that's my problem. I've spoiled him.
She also said on there, but I must ask, what was the final pizza you shared with Kent's mom? I don't recall you mentioning it.
Oh, it
What
was a specialty one that we didn't mention with the white sauce.
Had a white sauce on it.
And a cauliflower crust, wasn't
Cauliflower
it?
crust.
I don't remember the brand.
Remember.
We'll let you know.
It was very good. Then Kyler on Facebook, Kyler Williamson says, "Dang it, I didn't want to eat a frozen pizza tonight, but I have no choice. Every single time Baconsale does a food episode, I inevitably go out and eat it that day." And I agree. I do the same.
We apologize.
Then finally on Twitter at Terry_Joy22, Terry Finley says, "Went and pulled the frozen pizza out of my freezer tonight, and I had no idea I had been buying Palermo's brand. I've been buying it because it's my family's favorite. It's not the pepperoni, but it's still good.
It's
I'm telling you
beautiful.
guys,
It's the
Palermo's
best.
is the next big thing.
I'll try.
It's gonna take
I'll let
off.
you know. Thank you for your feedback. We really do appreciate it. And we also appreciate patrons such as our guest today, Jennifer Kielkowski.
Hello.
Otherwise known as Dr. Jen.
Yes.
So Jennifer was kind enough to come out here and be with us tonight. She's a patron and decided she wanted to do a food-related episode. But before we get into what we're going to talk about, I want to bring up the fact that you brought us. We've been doing these frozen pizzas
Right.
for a long time now, months.
Too long.
And then we're like, oh, thank goodness we don't have to eat anything before our show and have our stomachs
more
going
pies.
crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
And then I bring you pie.
you, being the wonderful person that you are, brought us 4 delicious pies.
Homemade pies.
Homemade pies. Pumpkin, pecan,
Banana cream.
chocolate.
And chocolate.
And chocolate.
Yes.
And they were all very, very tasty.
I'm glad you liked it.
And we do talk a little bit more about them on our Bacon Bit,
Yeah.
which you can see at patreon.com at Baconsale. You get a little extra content. We do little mini episodes. But we thoroughly enjoyed them, and we have Pie Head right now.
And absolutely amazing.
Good.
And obviously very timely, which we'll get into.
Yes.
But Jennifer, tell us a little bit about yourself. I call you Jennifer Kielkowski because that's what we call you at the end of
Yes.
every show. But
Jen.
you prefer Jen.
Jen.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jen.
So J-Dog,
That got me.
Dr. J-Dog.
Oh, no.
Dr. J.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a physician. I work down in Utah County, so it was a little bit of a drive, but worth it to come up to see you guys.
See the Bacon Cave?
Yep. It's
Nice.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what else? Gosh, seems
You-
like that's
you
all
enjoy-
my life
you
right
enjoy
now because of
baking.
COVID.
I saw that.
I
Yeah.
enjoy baking. Yes, it's kind of my love language.
Do you
Like to
enjoy
bake
cooking
for
as well,
friends.
or is it primarily
Yeah,
baking?
both.
Yeah.
but probably baking more.
So you've listened to Baconsale for a while, right?
Yeah, few years.
Which episodes do you primarily enjoy the most?
My favorites are the Halloween ones where you guys go totally into a creature or whatever.
Yeah, like we do our Baconsale
the
proof
zombie or the
monsters or whatnot.
vampire, yeah, or
Creature
the
of the
witches.
seasons,
Those
yeah.
are my favorites.
Yeah, we love those
Fun.
too.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, how did you actually find out about Baconsale? Like, what's your Baconsale story?
What's your Baconsale story? I love this.
Baconsale story. How'd you get saved by Baconsale?
It was listening to Kenny on a different podcast.
What? I had a different
And
podcast.
he mentioned Baconsale.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
a few times.
I'm going to give it a listen. And just really loved the humor and the wit and the pop culture
Aw.
stuff, like the movies
Awesome.
and TV reviews, and find myself just laughing in my car as I
Good.
commute
Cool.
and all that. So
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, awesome. Yeah, thank you for
That's very
listening.
kind
You
of
guys
you
are
to say. And
great.
thank
Yeah.
you again for the pies. Really
Yeah,
do
of
appreciate
course.
it.
Of course.
You patrons don't have to bring things, though. Please, you don't need to.
But because you're here for the first time,
Yes.
we have some questions for you.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Joel, would you do the honors?
We have a series of versus questions for you. 11 versus questions. And we need you to
Okay.
answer these as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Even if you don't have a strong opinion, just pick one and you'll get a strong
And
response.
go with it. Okay.
Know that there is scrutiny here, even though Joel says there is not.
There's no judgment.
You'll be judging me.
Except from
Got
Kent
it.
and I.
Okay.
So, are you ready?
I am ready.
Which is better, Karate Kid 1 or Karate Kid 2?
Karate Kid 1.
You can't help it. The first one.
Oh, come on. Yes.
That's the only one that goes my way.
Like when I was a kid, we would play on the trampoline and like
Yeah.
do someone would
The
get
crane
hurt
kick.
and like, oh, I'm totally going to fix you.
Yeah,
Like Mr.
yeah.
Miyagi, we would do that.
Which is worse, Star Wars Episode 1 or Star Wars Episode 2? Which is worse?
I didn't like either one of them.
I like her.
Probably
You gotta pick one. Lightning round.
one.
Okay. Do you rate movies using stars or letter grades?
Stars,
Okay.
usually.
Which is the more America movie, Rocky 4 or Independence Day?
Rocky 4.
There we go.
Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
Totally Halloween. Just watched it not very long ago. Halloween movie.
Buffy or X-Files?
X-Files.
Oh, it's pretty split.
Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
Lord of the Rings.
Okay. Which movie is more Christmassy, Die Hard or Lethal Weapon?
You know what? I've never seen either of them.
You haven't seen Die Hard?
No.
Wow.
I
You
need
haven't
to
seen Lethal
watch
Weapon?
it, right? No.
So you have to pick
Neither
one.
one.
She
I'll
has
say
to
Die
pick one?
Hard.
People just don't know.
Well, she doesn't. She hasn't seen either
She
movie.
literally does no
I
idea.
don't know. I was just
Phantom of
picking
the
one.
Opera or Les Miserables?
Oh, Les Mis.
Okay. Labyrinth or Neverending Story?
Labyrinth.
Okay. And How to Lose a Guy in
David
10 Days or 10 Things I Hate About You?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, man.
Benny
It's one of the first
Boo
times
Boo
we've asked that one.
Boo.
It may have tipped my way.
Yeah.
Check the tape. We'll have to figure that out.
That's awesome. Thank you for sitting in the hot seat real
Yeah,
quick
of
because
course.
I'm sure it's a lot of pressure. So we
No,
appreciate it.
It's fun.
But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Zach?
Today we are talking about one of my very favorite topics, Thanksgiving food.
More food.
I am
More
so
food.
excited.
What? We should have done this on a better week. Oh, wait a
Wait a
minute.
minute. Thanksgiving is this week.
What you
Yeah.
don't know is that time actually has been moving this last few months.
Strange. It's not
Actually,
March
November.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, so we wanted to celebrate the food of Thanksgiving. This is one of Jennifer's ideas. And we had a discussion of whether we should do a pie ranking or a food ranking or both. And we decided we could not do them both in the same show.
It would be strange to do like pies first, for
Yes, you
example.
don't start with pies.
Right.
So we're going to be
dessert.
doing Thanksgiving foods. We have 21 Thanksgiving foods. And so we can give them a tier 1 being the highest. We have 7 tier 1s, 7 tier 2s, and 7 tier 3s, 3s being the lowest. So then it's up to us to decide which one we feel is which tier, and then we argue from there.
And the way I view this is if, let's say there's this huge spread. You go to your family's maybe last year for Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
probably not
Not
this year.
this year.
You go to
You
your
go to your Zoom call.
You go to your Zoom call, and you decide what
Just
you'd
like
like
the
to eat
Pilgrims
next
did.
year. And you see this huge spread of food, 21 items, and you think, hey, my plate is only so big. What are the first 7 items I'm going to get on this plate?
Yeah.
And I will go back for seconds, and that may be my tier 1 plus tier 2.
Right.
And even tier 3 may be good, but we have to pick least favorites.
That's just it too. It was hard. It was
Well,
hard
it's
for me to give
Thanksgiving
any of these.
food.
Yeah, to give any of these a tier 3.
Right.
There were some that deserved it. Also, just for me, some of these foods are good, but at Thanksgiving, they're not my prime target.
I agree.
Like you won't even touch them.
Well, not that I want to touch them, but I'm like,
No, they're wasted space.
Yeah,
That's
there-
real
there
estate on your
are-
plate.
Why bother with
There-
Yeah.
vegetables? Yeah.
Hey, spoiler alerts,
Right?
okay?
On our list are tier 1 foods that may not be a tier 1 Thanksgiving food for me.
Yes. I
In
agree.
fact,
Multiple times.
some of my tier 1 food on here, I won't eat really on their own any other time other than Thanksgiving.
No.
Yeah. Before we jump into the tiering, though, I would like to give a little history of Thanksgiving, if I may.
Oh, please.
Oh, wait, like the actual history?
Well,
Like
some
based
fun
on
facts in
Wikipedia?
history.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Should we
It's
hold
actually
hands?
a song by Janine Brady.
Should we hold hands?
I have that one.
I know you
The
do.
Pilgrims and the Indians had a party a
No,
long
that
time
sounds like the
ago.
song Jake sang that we cut out of the show. Please don't.
Right. Sat down and ate together. And that is how Thanksgiving was born. Remember those, the holiday favorites?
Oh,
Janine
yeah.
Brady? Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
So the first Thanksgiving
Not at
was
all.
celebrated in 1621 over a 3-day harvest festival. It included 50 pilgrims, 90 Wampanoag Indians, and lasted 3 days. And this is in Massachusetts. So there was there was some dispute that there was a Floridian celebration that probably was first.
A bath salts is what I think they ingested at that Thanksgiving.
Yes, that's
Right.
What was that? 2006.
Yeah.
There was no turkey at the first Thanksgiving. First Thanksgiving. They served things like venison, duck, goose, swan, oysters, lobster, eel, and fish, and pumpkins and cranberries.
Most of those are tier 3. What are they doing?
I don't know. Turkey actually didn't even get popularized till like the 19th century. It's like in the 1800s they finally decided it was going to be that was the meal. Abraham Lincoln was the one who proclaimed Thanksgiving to be a national holiday on October 3rd, 1863. And why did he do this? The woman who wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb wrote him letters for 17 years trying to convince him to make Thanksgiving a national holiday.
What?
So Mary Had a Little Lamb is responsible for Thanksgiving being a national holiday. So I don't know why we don't sing Mary Had a Little Lamb at our Thanksgiving
I'm
table.
going
Or
to
eat
now.
lamb.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That would be That's probably why she did it.
Maybe.
She probably was like, I can
Eat
get
the
in there.
turkeys, not the lambs.
She's probably-
Chick-fil-A.
No, Mary,
Exactly.
Mary had a little lamb and a side of mashed potatoes.
Oh,
Yeah, a little mint jelly.
Whose meat was white as snow.
If you eat a normal Thanksgiving meal, the average number of calories consumed on Thanksgiving is, do you guys have a guess?
I know, so I'm going
Massive
to abstain.
3,000. No, it's probably higher.
You're
close.
3,000?
3,500.
3,500. Zach, you want to take a guess?
Yeah, it's got to be around 3,000.
4,500. The equivalent of eating 8 Big Macs in a single sitting.
Wow.
But experts say that you generally don't gain weight from this holiday if it's your only big meal of that time, which generally sometimes it's not because leftovers.
They say you only usually gain about 0.8 of a pound.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although plumbers would actually beg to differ because the 24 hours.
Oh, no! We just made the connection.
I'm just saying this is a statistic that plumbers report the 24 hours following Thanksgiving are their busiest of the year. Not just because of what you're thinking, also because of broken garbage disposals and sink drains. But
You hear
also,
about
No,
those
you're supposed to use
commercials
the
of
toilet.
The
You
toilet
shouldn't-
will flush like
Stop.
3 pounds of vegetables.
but like people
frozen
throwing turkey
vegetables.
bones down the disposal,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
going to break it up.
Right.
So yeah.
Thank you for that fun fact.
You're welcome. Also, I just wanted to bring up just a fun fact I found that a Thanksgiving mix-up actually inspired the original TV dinners because a Swanson employee accidentally ordered a huge. I think he missed a number because he ordered 260 tons of turkey.
Yeah.
And Swanson's like, what are we going to do with all the turkey? So they ended up saying,
Slicing it up
"Let's slice
and-
it up, put it with some mashed potatoes, gravy, peas,
It
carrots.
is funny
and
how
say,
that's the
boom."
typical TV dinner. And
Yeah.
it's like a mini Thanksgiving dinner.
And
so
it's because
strange.
of a screw up of an employee.
And we're still eating that today. It's like Totino's from back in the day.
Yeah.
We're still eating those old
Still
Schwann's
slicing
turkeys. Yeah.
The first Thanksgiving football game was between Yale and Princeton in 1876.
Wow.
So if you're watching football, you can thank it to those two teams who are still competing very much so.
Jen,
in
do
all
you
those
like football?
champions on Thanksgiving.
No, but my sister is a huge fan.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you mentioned.
Yeah,
them on
Tom
the
Brady.
date.
Definitely.
Can't win out with her sister.
Oh, come on.
Can't win out with Dr. Jen's sister. You can listen to that on the Paykin bit as well.
Yeah, I'm blushing.
Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was actually a big Christmas parade 2 weeks before Thanksgiving in 1924. And they had like animals from the local zoo in there. No balloons. Balloons didn't come till like 3 years later.
Were they lip syncing to like Ariana Grande as well?
They basically, it was basically Ariana Grande. And Broadway was performing there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they brought in the oversized balloons, and it's just, it's become a huge thing for me. In fact, I was going to ask you guys, one of my biggest Thanksgiving traditions is I love watching the parade, or I used to love watching the parade. I have to admit it's gone downhill recently.
Like the last 20 years?
Last 10 years, I think
Okay.
I've really started to not enjoy it as much, but I still watch a lot of it with my kids. But one of my favorite things is at the end when Santa comes. Like, that's the big moment I
Right.
wait for. And so that's one of my Thanksgiving
crossover
traditions
event.
is I try to watch it. A lot of times we have to leave for family parties and stuff, but watching at least part of the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. But I was going to ask you guys, what are some of your
Do you watch the
Thanksgiving
dog
traditions?
special after?
I like the
near
dog
West
show
Coast
after.
You leave
better,
it
yeah.
on. Of course, you just leave the TV
Yeah.
running, and then you're making the meal as you're watching the dogs run around.
I just like the Elaine's boss from Seinfeld is always on
Yeah.
there. What's his name? John Hurley.
Yeah,
John O'Hurley, yeah.
John O'Hurley. Yeah.
Yeah, John Wayne O'Hurley.
He's probably my biggest Thanksgiving tradition. Just watching him.
Yeah. Yeah, Thanksgiving.
We like to go out and get like a Sunday paper or the newspaper, right? The old and get all
Black
the ads
Friday
for Black
stuff, yeah.
Friday. And so after we're like totally done eating,
You
we
go
go
out and
through
get
all
a
the
physical
ads.
paper?
Yeah, we go get a real
that's amazing.
paper.
It's
Actually, we probably
huge.
get two because it's
Yeah, 'cause
we
everyone
all
wants to
wanna
go through
watch
it.
and we look at all the ads and plan.
Do you then go
we
Black Friday
typically
shopping?
Don't. Well, sometimes we do. Not as much anymore.
Right.
Because a lot of it's online.
Right.
But it's kind of a fun tradition to do that when we're
I kinda
after
love
we're
that
eating
too.
and just kind of
And you're
being
feeling so
grumpy
sick,
along.
your pants are unbuckled.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna go to Best Buy tonight.
Yeah. Right.
Please don't.
For me, it's I starve myself until 2. For my family, we eat at 2 every year, and I go every other year at this point. Well, that's when my immediate family gets together, and then the off years, they go to separate families. But yeah, so ever since I was a kid, it's been 2 p.m. And for some reason, I starve myself, even though my stomach is smaller by the time I'm actually
You're
eating.
supposed
in
to
the day.
actually, if you want to expand your stomach, you have to eat.
You got to
big.
pregame a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, I wait till 2, and yes, you snack on carrots.
Wait, you're eating a dinner at 2?
Yes.
That's the weirdest thing to me about Thanksgiving. They say Thanksgiving dinner, but people eat it at like noon.
Yeah,
No, but
1
you
and
got to
2.
give yourself enough time to eat dinner, quote unquote dinner, have pie, and then go back for leftovers.
Yeah.
Do you
Oh,
go
yeah.
back for leftovers?
100%.
yeah.
I don't.
100%.
Oh yeah, like
Because I'm saving it for the next day for lunch.
Well, my wife's
leftover
family.
turkey sandwiches.
My wife's family,
the next day.
they eat Thanksgiving dinner at like 9 a.m.
No, they don't.
It feels like it. But like we eat it, like they call it dinner, but it's super early. But then every time we get to the end of the day, and then we have the leftovers for like at like 7 or something like
Second
that.
Yeah.
dinner.
And it's still real good.
Yeah, of course it is.
In fact, I saw a study that said that 8 out of 10 Americans agree that second helpings are better than the original helpings.
But for me, second helpings are like going immediately back to the table.
Yeah.
Even though you shouldn't, you should stop.
Never.
And then how long do you guys wait for pies? Like you eat your savory food and some sweets in there as well.
You go-
Then you wait, what, 2-3 hours for pies?
You obviously go to
hours.
watch a football game.
yeah. I get on my lazy boy and I watch football. No, I don't. I watch Jurassic Park, clearly. Yeah, because that feels like a Thanksgiving tradition.
Yeah.
And I fall asleep,
Yeah,
even
I
though
think-
we have some facts that will prove that that's not scientifically correct.
No, but that's from the overeating. But I'll tell you what, a Thanksgiving nap is one of the best naps in the
It is.
world. But Zach, what about you? Thanksgiving traditions?
Actually, I never really have had too many Thanksgiving traditions. We never really did anything solid.
Mostly
growing
liquid?
up. Yeah, generally speaking, it was like we'd end up at different people's houses. We didn't have like the set thing, and then for the last few years, I've kind of had a set thing, and then that is no longer part of my life. So I don't really know. Like this year, I wouldn't have known what I was doing
You're
without.
a free agent. You're a Thanksgiving free agent.
I am. I am available for
Sometimes
draft.
when you're a free agent, there's something thrown at you that I kind of hate the term
Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving.
Okay.
I know it's nice. It's a nice gesture, especially if someone's kind of feeling lonely. I would never go to a Friendsgiving.
So I've done
Ever.
and I've
you
enjoyed.
can,
Sad.
listener. It's okay if you do, just because Cynic Kent doesn't.
Don't invite me.
But here's how it works. Friendsgiving, or I in the past I've hosted Piesgiving,
Yeah.
is you do something different, right? You bring your friends over and you have like a potato bar, or you eat pasta or something as a sort of pregame, eating different types of food. I think if you do a Friendsgiving but do another Thanksgiving dinner, it's like it starts to get a little repetitive. So my recommendation would be like have a pie party and bring pizza and shepherd's pie and
That's fun.
and
Yeah, I like that.
chicken pot pie, in addition to maybe the other.
Don't invite me, okay?
But at the same time,
I already have, and you didn't come.
but at the same time, I'll tell you what though. If I were invited to Thanksgiving Dinny, if I were invited
Denny's.
if I were invited to Thanksgiving dinner at Denny's, no. But if I went there and it wasn't traditional Thanksgiving food, which has happened, there was a time in the past I won't go
Yeah.
into, but there's a time when they tried to go fancy, and I was just like, this doesn't.
What does
feel-
fancy mean?
They
Like
were
steak?
like different. It was all just different stuff, and it tasted good, but it didn't feel like Thanksgiving.
Okay, I get that.
Worst Thanksgiving I ever went to was basically just all of the appetizers that they sell at Sam's Club. It was horrible.
It wasn't even Costco.
No, yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was like just like the weird things that they serve on a stick that they give you like samples
Like
of
some
as you walk
hors
by.
d'oeuvres?
The worst
Terrible.
Thanksgiving I went to was when I was dating someone and her ex-boyfriend showed up to eat dinner with us.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oops.
Jen,
No, not that it showed up. It was invited.
yeah. Tell us about some of your Thanksgiving memories.
She did. Well, she talked about the newspaper. Anything
Yeah.
else you want to share?
Do you
it's pretty
generally,
boring.
are you the one to cook every
It's
Thanksgiving?
become that way in the last few years. Yeah, I'll kind of take it over.
I've often
Right.
wondered when that mantle is passed, you know,
Yeah.
because it just seems like Well, like this year, a lot of people are going to be cooking their own Thanksgiving dinner
Oh yeah.
for
Trying
the
new
first
stuff.
time.
Yep.
And it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that turns out. I have cooked a turkey once in my life. It was when I was serving a religious mission, and it was just me and a couple other guys. And we didn't have enough money for a whole turkey, so we went to the butcher shop and got like half a turkey.
It's like a Christmas Carol turkey?
No, we were cheap, and so it's like this half a turkey. We found this really good marinated. It was one of the best turkeys I've ever had.
Really? And you cooked it?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
like I got the recipe from someone, and it was delicious.
One of the first times I tried to make a turkey, I didn't realize you had to let it thaw out for like
yeah.
days ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
Days.
oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this turkey? Put it in the sink with like hot water and
Deep fry.
Yeah, you got it.
Public service
Gotta
announcement.
plan ahead
Please,
most
please,
of the time.
please don't leave your turkey like out on the counter. It's very bad.
You can.
Some
In the
people get
fridge.
If you really don't like your in-laws.
yeah. People get sick.
Raising my hand, where would you put it instead?
the
Just
fridge.
In the fridge.
Find some spot in the fridge multiple days ahead.
See, when bacteria grows at a certain temperature range,
Yeah.
and so if you can keep it out of that range for as long as possible, you're good.
Also,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this episode now, you probably should take your turkey out of the freezer.
Yes. It's Monday.
Yeah.
Take it out.
Yeah, take it out. Take it out. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so we have a lot of food to talk about. 21 items, once again, 7 tier 1s, 7 tier 2s, 7 tier 3s, and we're going to go for it.
Let's do this.
Let's start with a fun one and something that gets you started. Everybody's favorite, really. Cheese and crackers. Now, I got to clarify.
Just do a Mormon
Yeah,
swear
I want to
there.
know. I want to know about this. 'Cause
Cheese and crackers.
it's going to move on my list if this is just like saltines with squeezy cheese.
That's what you-
Or is it like
I'm saying a cheese
charcuterie
ball.
tray with
No.
like
This is the range. So we had to be broad in some of these categories.
Yeah.
So this is everything from Ritz and easy cheese to like wheat thins and a cheese ball.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
everything
that's
between.
the
Oh,
fancy.
it
picture
can
the
get much
cheese
more
ball.
sophisticated.
You
Yes.
were picturing a cheese ball?
Yeah.
Ritz and a cheese ball and slivered almonds.
Right.
Yeah.
What about like a nice toasted brie?
Yes.
Or a
No,
smoked
that's-
Gouda.
No, this isn't Joel's fancy dinner. This is
No, but
cheese ball.
You can
This
make
is
a
you-
really nice spread to snack on
Yeah.
while you're waiting
Yeah.
for
Like a
your
Harmon's
dinner.
cheese ball.
All right, so who's starting? We're already talking about it. Who's
Joel, go
starting
for
it?
it.
Joel, go for it. Yeah.
So I gave this one a tier 2 because this is a good go-to snack, especially if you have like the nice smoked Gouda or if you have the ranch cheese ball. Like I really do enjoy kind of snacking on. I think I in my mind it's Ritz and wheat thins and even chicken and a biscuit. If any of those are on the table, or Triscuits, if I'm
Sure.
going to be snacking on those before the meal, and
But
probably
this is
after.
not something you'll ever go for after you've had actual Thanksgiving food, right? This is all pre.
No, I was going to say the cheese ball especially has a way of kind of just throughout the day coming up, grabbing a scoop, and walking off. So I'm giving this a tier 2 because it's an old reliable. It's a snack. It
Okay.
doesn't feel like it's filling you up. It's there to make you happy and give you that little, the mouthfeel and the euphoria of the endorphins kick in from
Sure.
getting the food.
I'm going to tell you why I give this a tier 3.
I figured you would.
Because this is the one where you have that weird cousin with bad hygiene. He always hogs the cheese ball, and his fingernails get a little too close to the cheese in the cheese ball. He's like
no.
picking out and licking his fingers.
You don't like communal foods at all.
I feel like communal foods are going to go the way of the dinosaur.
I'm so
now
happy
in
for that.
pandemic.
Yeah.
No, but
probably
every-
Like appetizers may
the
go
whole
away.
point of Thanksgiving is communal food. It's all on the table. You're
Sure,
all
but like
serving
when
it.
you're dipping your fingers into like ranch or cheese, I
yes.
feel like it's kind of going to go away now that
What
people
about
are ready-
ranch and cheese?
That I would be down for that. That would be tier 1.
Yeah.
Cheese fries and ranch.
But yeah, for me, I've never been a big fan of fancy cheeses anyways. We'll have a cheese show. Don't
You
worry
just
about it.
need the
So-
right one.
You need the right cheese.
You haven't
I
met
might.
the right one.
I haven't seen
Have
the
it.
wait, true story. Wait until you see the Snyder cut cheese.
Oh, I would eat that. All right. What about you, Jen?
Well, if it's in my mind what I would think about cheese and crackers, I'd put this as tier 1 because
Wow,
I'm
really?
a big cheese tray fan, but it has to be
The
good.
right one.
Like, yeah, no
Like,
cheese ball.
Hold on. But so you'd have to
No.
pick it because if you
I would pick it.
have someone do a potluck and you're like, bring the cheese.
Bring the cheese.
You never
No.
know.
Bringing cheese and crackers.
No, there's like an Instagram page called That Cheese Plate. You'll have to check it out. They tell you
That
how
cheese.
to build
You're telling me
your
there's a whole
cheese.
Instagram account there. It's just
Oh yeah,
cheese plates.
about cheese plates. She like
Really?
makes them on like airplanes, like with airplane snacks, and it looks all fancy. Anyway,
Because cheese
yeah.
has opioids.
So you get like
delicious.
3 different cheeses, like a blue cheese and it.
Now,
which
what
is
if-
like
what
a
if it
stinky
were a
cheese
cheese
and
ball?
a brie cheese?
What if
Then
it
that
were-
would probably be tier 2 or 3 for
And
me.
if it were like easy cheese and Ritz.
tier 3,
See, I'm
It's-
tier 2 across the board.
Thanksgiving is too
So you're going to give it a tier
important.
1 though.
So I'd give it a tier 1
Well,
if it's the cheese tray that I would make.
okay.
And you
Yeah.
bring up a point. I think we really need to consider each one of these items in what your default is.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
what it means to you. If you just have had really bad experiences with cheese balls, but
Yeah.
that's still your experience. If you have when I say cheese ball and you think of an awesome, delicious cheese plate, then great.
Yeah.
I think cheese ball.
I would
think
make
Kent.
this before.
like
for
you
people
do
to snack
cheese
on
ball?
leading
Yeah.
up, and they probably wouldn't appreciate all the work.
So
the cheeses I picked, but it would be
That'd be
here's
me.
this beautiful
Thanks,
spread.
They always have, like,
while
they-
you snack while I'm
They have
making
little.
dinner.
They have little little fancy knife
Yeah,
right
like
next to the
little
cheese ball,
spread.
but no one ever uses it. You
No.
just dip the cracker in.
Your
and it
cousin with the
breaks.
weird fingernails gets in there.
Gets his fingies in there.
No.
Fingies? I hate fingies.
All right, Zach.
I have never had a delicious cheese plate like that. I don't like cream cheese, and so most cheese balls are like a no-go for me. This is a tier 3. This is an anxious food when you just
don't
want
like
something
cream
better.
cheese?
Anxious
I don't.
food. That's perfect.
It's an anxious. You're just like, I want something better, and I'm just gonna. I'm in the mood to eat. I haven't eaten much, so I'm just gonna have this because it's there, not because I actually want it. It's a tier 3.
Okay.
We hope you're playing along and seeing who you most relate to and making sure Kent has the right amount of tier 3s.
I like most of these things.
Well, I want to move to a big one. I want to get started, really get things rolling here. Mashed potatoes. And let's start with you, Kent.
All right, so the earliest known mashed potato recipe was published in the Art of Cookery recipe book, authored by Englishwoman Hannah Glass in 1747. Mashed potatoes for me are the little edible volcano.
Yes.
You know, you make the sides, you
have
prop
to
them up.
make a little pool in there,
Right?
well, for the gravy.
Yeah, for the gravy. And by the way, gravy is going to have its own category. May come up next. But you do need to make this. It's like a bowl that will kind of spill over onto the other foods.
Not
Granted,
yet,
that's more
not yet.
gravy.
You wait until your spoon cuts it,
Right.
and then you have it like a little eruption there.
But without mashed potatoes, you would have no glue to your Thanksgiving plate. This is the thing that literally...
That doesn't sound appetizing.
It literally and metaphorically binds everything together.
You just mix everything into it. You mix
Yes.
your other stuff into your mashed potatoes.
Completely. I'm not kosher about this at all. Everything goes into mashed potatoes.
Gravy's made of midichlorians.
It's the chosen one then. By the way, Maine, South Dakota, and Minnesota have festivals where they actually have mashed potato wrestling matches for festivals for Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Right?
Baconsale field trip.
I actually think we really should.
Super spreader event. Let's do it.
Yeah. So yes, tier 1 for me. What about you, Jen?
They would be tier 1 for me too. Probably one of my top favorite foods outside of Thanksgiving, and I would even eat
Just
it without gravy
at all?
Yep.
Wait,
just at all.
Just
Love
wait. What do you do?
potatoes.
Like salt and pepper, and do you use butter?
Butter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all you need.
There you go.
Yeah, it's all you need,
All
but
you need
still
is- all you
gravy
need is
with it.
butter.
No, because my cheese tray bumped gravy from tier 1 to tier 2.
Oh, save it. Save it.
Whoa.
Save it.
Spoilers.
So,
Whoa.
Yeah,
No.
I still put mashed potatoes even if they're without
Okay.
gravy.
For me, also like a huge tier 1, and I'm actually, I think you and I are on kind of the same page, Joel. I'm good without gravy with them. They just have to have massive amounts of butter, and then I over pepper them. I'm actually a big fan of pepper, but like tons of butter.
Yummy.
And even like if you sneak in a little bit of bacon too, then you really don't. Oh,
There's
yeah.
no bacon at this Thanksgiving.
I'm
dinner.
just saying, you
Okay.
can.
There
You
should
can.
be though.
There could be.
You know
in
what
there.
makes
I have
really
a
good
problem.
mashed potatoes is actually putting cream cheese in them.
It's
Oh,
true.
and you
it's
know,
very true.
I
My wife
have,
does that.
I will say, I just bagged on cream cheese. I always put cream cheese in my mashed potatoes. I think
Oh,
it
interesting.
adds a great texture,
Yeah.
I
flavor.
usually add a little splash of milk in mine.
Yeah,
Cream or
milk,
milk, yeah.
cream cheese,
Butter.
butter,
Some
and
sort
then
of-
lots
all
of
the
pepper,
good stuff.
and then some salt.
And
Yeah,
a little bit of potato.
Yeah.
and here's the thing: I feel if you're doing well enough with your mashed potato, you actually don't necessarily need that gravy.
I agree.
So I think a good mashed potato,
So
even a mediocre mashed potato,
So
is a
tier
tier
1
one.
from Kent, tier 1 from
Tier one.
Jen, Dr. Jen,
Don't disappoint me.
and then tier 1 from Zach.
Tier one from me.
I hate to break the streak.
Oh, here we go.
No.
You monster!
So I won't. It's
Yeah,
tier
thank
one.
you. Yeah.
I want to bring up this fun fact. Shoppers purchased nearly 214 million pounds of potatoes from U.S. supermarkets in the weeks before Thanksgiving. That is slightly heavier than an aircraft carrier. Just pointing that out.
So am I. After
the
Thanksgiving
NIMS, the
dinner.
NIMS class aircraft carrier. And that doesn't even include the 3 million pounds of prepared mashed potatoes that people buy. There's a lot of potatoes going into this, and I love seeing that big pot of mashed potatoes. And this is one of my main go-tos. And yes, Ken, I do mix this with almost everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to see how some peas and some turkey.
Is
mix
that your
with
voice
this. Yes.
every time?
This is how I eat.
What can we
my
put in
Thanksgiving
here?
dinner? But no, my brother-in-law Sean, he makes mashed potatoes that are so good. Don't even need gravy. Gravy just makes them even better, though. Yes, butter, milk, salt, pepper, deliciousness. I put a little garlic salt sometimes in there, or even just some fresh garlic. Give it a
Sounds
little
good.
flavor. But I love mashed
Are
potatoes.
you okay if the skins get in there a little bit?
I have no problem.
Yeah.
Like, I do like. I was going to say it's a little creamier when you don't have skins in there, but I have no problem with.
Don't overmash, by the way.
I was gonna say, do you like a smooth?
No,
Or you like
not
a little
too
chunky?
smooth.
Rice
I like a little
potatoes?
chunky. Yeah.
I like them smooth. I like them real
Too
smooth.
because you can overmash.
I don't think you can.
I
You
could have
can't.
guessed.
Like that's things we use the hand
Dr.
mixer.
Jen, can you overmash?
Yes, you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want,
Science.
I don't want too many lumps. Just because you say science doesn't mean it's true.
I, as far as my mashed potatoes go, definitely like them a little on the chunkier side, and as well red potatoes. That
With the
adds a little,
skin?
with the skin on, red potato skin on.
Okay, guys, this is not a mashed potato show.
Save for a mashed potato show. Save for a potato show. We could do potato tiering.
Stop.
Think about that.
Next season. Okay. How about we have cooked carrots as our next one? Cooked carrots. Jen, want to start us?
This was tier 3 for me.
Why?
Not really something I ever think of with Thanksgiving. I mean, maybe a side dish, but it wouldn't go on my first.
Let's say
or
you
any
have a
other
nice
plate,
Sunday dinner where
probably.
you have a nice roast and
I love
potatoes and
carrots
cooked
with roast.
carrots. Like
Yeah,
that would be
for
appropriate.
Sure. Yeah, love
But not
carrots.
for
They're a
Thanksgiving.
good vegetable, but I wouldn't waste room on my plate.
And that's what
on
the show's all about.
vegetables,
You can
right?
put anything on top of the potatoes,
Yeah.
though. You can drop some corn on there, some
True.
peas, some carrots.
And it might be good. If someone else
Yeah.
made it, great. It's not on my list to make.
So tier
Yeah,
3.
Tier 3.
Wow.
A lot of them they call like the glazed carrots, but they call them for Thanksgiving. So that's
Copper
kind of the
pennies.
yeah.
It's cute.
What?
Oh, there was like a
pennies?
Food Network show, at like a barbecue one. Some guy made. He called them copper pennies. Something
Those
nice.
are nickel
I thought-
wafers.
Like cooked
I
carrots.
thought that was the taste I was
little
tasting when I
penny-
cooked,
Oh, no.
cooked carrots.
No, that's just you bit your lip. Yeah. You are as wise as you are wonderful. They are a tier 3. Honestly, I think they're a tier 3 food in general. Cooked carrots are not my favorite. I think
that's why
they're-
you have glasses.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Sorry, Zach, I had to.
I like
had
raw
to.
carrots. I like raw carrots a lot. I don't like cooked carrots. I think they're mushy. I think unless they're in like a really good glaze, they're a way of getting the good glaze in my mouth.
Agree.
Don't really like carrots.
So it's a
all
way
that
of getting butter to your mouth.
much. That's it. Love it.
Mashed potatoes are.
Yeah.
So yeah, tier 3 for sure.
I'm going to agree. It's a tier 3. My dad has always hated cooked carrots, and I think he instilled some of that in me. I like them with the roast and things like that, but I'm not wasting table real estate on this. Although I found out in my research, I love fresh carrots, by the way, like love them. But I found out in 2002, researchers found that cooking carrots actually increases the amount of beta carotene your body is able to absorb, making cooked carrots more healthy than fresh carrots.
That's weird because usually you cook away nutrients.
I know.
Yeah.
There was a whole article about foods that are more healthy when you cook them. And Dr. Jen will back me up on the science.
Probably.
Probably.
I didn't know about that one.
Add some
Yep.
carrots on there, beta carotene.
Officially, there is no medical advice on this episode. Sorry about that.
I'm going to break the streak. It's a tier 2.
You're bumping cooked
What?
carrots.
I'm so
above the cooked
disappointed
carrots.
you gave it a mediocre score.
What did you put? No, but I'm sitting there thinking, what did he bump down to tier
Yeah,
3?
what-
That's what I'm
yeah,
thinking.
You'll find
Tier
out. Well,
3.
cheese and crackers for one. No, I think these are wonderful with the gravy that spills over from the mashed potatoes. I do like my carrots either glazed, like with butter and a lot of pepper,
Sugar,
or
like brown sugar
and
and
brown
stuff.
sugar is so good. Even without butter, maybe some cooked onions on the side too. But just it's like a mashed potato bite party, and a carrot is invited. And so for me, it's a tier 2. It's not a very common Thanksgiving food for me,
Yeah.
and that's why it would be on my second helping. I'm like, I'm gonna skip you this time, but next time I'll see you. I'll see you there.
Tier 2.
Tier 2.
Okay.
Too. That's
So we all give it tier 3 except for you.
Yep.
Hipster.
For carrot.
Thanksgiving
Hipsters
hipster.
for carrots.
That was my band's name in college.
Here's a food that I actually didn't even have until my early 20s. It's green bean casserole. Which I'll start with it. I think it's delicious, but
Well, I think we should explain what it is too. 'Cause
Yeah.
Some people didn't know what this was, and it's green beans, and then you get like a creamy soup, like cream of mushroom soup, and then like fried onions
Fried
or
onions.
onion.
yeah, that's
onion
like the
crisps
crispy
on the top.
onion
Yeah.
things.
In fact, Campbell's makes 40% of its total sales of cream of mushroom soup for the year leading up to Thanksgiving.
I have more experience with this at Christmas, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I have it more often at Christmas.
But by Campbell's estimates, some 20 million households serve the casserole every Thanksgiving.
Really?
This is going around.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think of it more of as a Thanksgiving
Yeah.
food.
So it's a really simple food as well. I mean, you talked about it's like only a couple ingredients really,
Cream
and,
mushroom soup, yeah, just like that's the one ingredient: cream and mushrooms.
and soup.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
That's 3.
I had one ingredient. It's I put in a pizza and a hamburger.
Can't push
Two
his up his
ingredients.
guts. Wait a minute, there's at least 3 ingredients in here. I think it's really good, but again, it's one of those that when I'm building my initial plate, it doesn't make it on there. So I will give this a tier 2.
Well, for me, this is one where I do enjoy cream mushroom soup. I love green beans, and crispy onions are much better than fresh onions.
Love green.
Don't say it that way.
I love green beans.
I love them.
But I'm always disappointed by the green bean casserole. I always see it. I'm like, ooh, yeah, put a little of that on my plate, and then I eat it. I'm like, it's not.
But don't you like the
flavorful.
texture, the crunchy texture that can go on top and all that?
You know why?
just-
Every time we've had it, it's probably been cold. I don't know what it is, but every time it's cold.
It just immediately goes close to the
So it's
yeah.
like In-N-Out fries.
Yeah, that's
Immediately.
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I give this a tier 3 though. This is one where I waffled between tier 2 and tier 3, and I ended up. I'm more disappointed by green bean
waffles.
casserole than I do enjoy it, and so I'm going to put it down tier 3.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Joel. Like, I'm not going to be offended if this gets on my plate, but I'm not going to purposely put it there.
So if it falls on your
loading your
plate,
plate?
yeah, Kent's mom is loading his plate for him.
Eat your green beans.
Put some green bean casserole on there.
To me, this is like when I leave food in Tupperware in the fridge for about 2.5 months, and it becomes green bean casserole based on appearance.
That's not science.
Yeah, it is science.
It doesn't become
And
green
it rots,
bean casserole.
it rots away, and when you open it up and you're covering your mouth to not smell it, it
People
looks just like green bean casserole. And why would you want to purposely eat that? It's a tier 3.
Oh, this is tier 2 for me. It's the top of the vegetables on my list.
Okay.
Because it has other good things with it, like the
cream mushroom
onions
soup,
on top.
yeah.
Yeah. Tier 2.
All right, we've already brought it up a couple of times, so it's time to talk about gravy. What do you think about gravy? And there's a lot of options here, so that's why it's difficult.
So gravy, if you don't know, is a sauce made with meat juice and a slurry.
Yum, which is
Delicious.
cooked flour.
I actually did not make like legitimate gravy until, I don't know, in the last 5-10 years. And I learned
Were you
that
like a packet guy, or
Yeah, well, that's things. Yeah, I use like packets. Like, well, for the longest time, my wife was gluten free too, and so we couldn't make a lot of traditional stuff. Oh, cornstarch works almost just as good as flour.
Yeah.
But I found out fairly recently that it's not that hard to make gravy, but it's harder to make gravy, especially exceptional. Because
Sure.
any gravy is going to be good.
Right.
You put like, you put some bouillon in there, and
It's
then just
meat
put some
juice.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, but I'm like, to make like the gravy where all of a sudden it's like there's something to this.
Right.
And so I've had so much good gravy in my life.
Good gravy.
Good gravy.
Good gravy.
This goes with everything. You could literally just put this all over my plate, and I'd have no problem with it touching anything. So this is definitely a tier 1 for me. It goes on everything. It's delicious. I love gravy.
Yeah.
Brown gravy at Thanksgiving is wonderful.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving sauce, right?
It is.
I mean, if
It's
mashed
the
potatoes,
sauce of Thanksgiving.
if mashed potatoes are the glue, this is like the food lubricant that you need. And every
Stuff it all
Okay,
down.
I'm just saying if you say things like it's the glue, it's the lubricant, it's no longer appetizing.
oh, wait, it's not. I'm trying to paint a picture here.
It's 2-month-old leftovers.
But gravy, just like mashed potatoes, can and should mix with everything, just like Joel said. This is a straight up tier 1. And normally I'd say no, because are you going to eat gravy on your own? No.
Yes.
You never have a plate
What?
with just gravy on the side, right?
There was a time in the 90s.
You need it on top of something. And that's why maybe it deserves tier 2, but for me, it's still necessary.
Brief break on the tiering here. I have a question for you guys.
Oh.
How do you feel about desserts on the main plate?
No.
No.
Like a Jello or something
don't
like
do
Hard
that?
no. If it can't mix with gravy, it's not going on my
That's
plate.
what I was going to
Yep.
say.
That's the litmus
I
test.
have an exception to that.
Dissenting vote from Kent.
Exception to that.
What? Something that's
I will let you know when it's brought up.
Something that's a
okay?
quote unquote salad that just is sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I call it salad.
Cookie salad or
Yeah.
Snickers salad.
No,
I
I'm
thought we were
joking.
talking green salad.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Gravy for me is tier 2 because
You monster.
the cheese tray bumped it out.
Oh, because she has such delicious fancy
Yeah.
cheeses.
Yeah,
Her cheese
the
tray.
cheese. And it's just kind of it makes
It doesn't
things,
stand alone.
It doesn't stand alone, and it's just meh.
Okay.
It's all right.
It's
Gravy.
meat juice and slurry. How is
It
that not
keeps
bad?
the turkey from getting too dry.
Slurry.
Yeah.
Slurry is the trick, by the way. You get the meat juices, and then you take like a flour and water or cornstarch and water, mix it together, and then you just get a little bit at a time to thicken it.
Didn't you have a T-shirt that said "Slurry is the trick"?
I did.
New merch next year. Well, I mean, obviously, we've said so many fascinating and important things about gravy. I will just continue to just praise it. Gravy's a tier 1. I think pretty much anything can be made better by gravy. Actually, my friend,
Unless it's cheese and crackers, according to Dr. Jen.
so you know,
Right.
so you know how there's those phrases like, "Is the Pope Catholic?" or did Grizzly Adams have a beard? And those are like the obvious yes answers. For a long time, me and my buddy, our obvious yes answer was, "Do you want gravy with that?" Like, of course I do. Why would
Yes.
you? These are cheese fries. Of course I want gravy with them.
Yes, I do.
Chicken tenders? Yeah, give me gravy.
Yes,
It's-
I want that with my chicken nuggets. Why not?
Absolutely. Like, seriously, go to KFC, order the tenders, and get gravy.
What's
That's
that
it.
with my triple burger? Yes, Wendy's and Blake, give me gravy.
Dip it all in gravy. Poutine, one of my favorite foods.
Oh, yeah.
Gravy.
Never had it.
What?
I've always wanted to try it.
'Kay.
I didn't date a Canadian, Kent, okay?
Did I?
Yes.
Is that a true story? If you
Yes.
say it, okay.
It's actually sell it at Disneyland. Did you know that?
But I haven't been to Disneyland
That's
since the 90s either.
Yeah.
And
Too
then it
soon.
goes,
Since that
yeah.
time I had all that gravy on my plate.
Well,
in the 90s.
when the world opens back up, I'll take you to something and get poutine.
Yes.
But yeah, I think pretty much any of my favorite foods are made better by gravy, and so it is a tier 1
Cereal.
at Thanksgiving. Kent.
It depends on the cereal. Probably with shredded wheat. And
No.
gravy.
Grape nuts.
Fruit Loops.
Oatmeal and gravy. Gross. Okay, we've talked about meat juice. Let's talk about meat. This just sounds so gross. But this is an interesting one. So let's talk ham. Do you guys have ham at Thanksgiving?
So ham for me is more of a Christmas item.
Yeah.
Me
But
too.
when
Or like
someone,
Easter.
Christmas and Easter.
Right. When someone brings a ham, I get excited. My eyes get real big. And I go, this feels wrong, but so right.
Yeah.
And especially, like, I kind of eye the ham. And if it looks dry, I'm like, you know what? You're a tier 2.
Because you can just know.
Because I
usually is,
will eat ham. And it is a tier 2 for me because it's my second helping. But if it's honey glazed, like which I normally have for Christmas or Easter, I'm like, oh, baby. You're next. That's the kind of thought.
So creepy. Sorry to all the hams out there. By the way, Ken refers to girls as hams.
You're next. I think ham is a secondary meat for this holiday. I do like ham more than turkey normally, but for Thanksgiving, it's a tier 2.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Actually, all around.
And you say, oh, baby,
I like
you're
ham
next.
No.
Thanks, Jen.
Ooh. Yeah, I like ham better than turkey generally, but for Thanksgiving, kind of second.
Yeah.
It's a tier
if
2
you
for
ever have
me.
it for the holiday.
Yeah, we usually do it more for Christmas too.
Right.
I am not a huge fan of ham in general. This is
What
actually
is wrong with you, Zach?
This is, I don't know, because I've had a lot of dry ham. But when you do have the nice, like kind of expensive, like the honey glazed ham or whatever, at Christmas time, really good. I do like it maybe more at the Easter. And go with me here. I was talking to a friend. Ham is for Easter, turkey's for Thanksgiving, and then try prime rib at Christmas. Just saying.
Well, if you're
Delicious.
fancy.
Yeah. No, if you have it out there, like, and I have because I've had family members who don't like turkey, so we supply a ham. It does offer nice variety, and so mine kind of got bumped up my list a little bit to a tier 2. I think it's fine, and again, a good variety option, but not my favorite.
Will you eat it if it's available?
Probably, I'll probably
slice.
grab a slice, a single slice.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of ham, but turkey is for Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when I eat ham at Thanksgiving, it's kind of like, oh, the turkey's all gone? Okay, I'll go for the ham. And generally speaking, ham's easier to cook, much easier. It's lower maintenance than turkey.
Probably already cooked.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
it comes cooked. I think the kosher foods are for the kosher holidays and non-kosher foods are non-kosher
Okay,
holidays.
so there's like religious meats.
That's what I
and not religious meats.
I don't know. It just feels like Christmas and Easter feel like ham holidays. I don't know why.
I get you.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it a tier 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so tier 2.
All tier
all
2.
around. It's a tier 2.
We agree.
It's fine.
Yay. I guess it must be the correct answer.
Must be kosher.
Now, here's something I do love with ham, but I've never once had at Thanksgiving. Funeral potatoes.
You've never had that?
Never once at Thanksgiving.
Me neither.
And now I want to.
If you don't know what funeral potatoes are, they're actually a traditional potato hot dish or casserole that is popular in the American Intermountain West and Midwest.
Well, the real name is hash brown casserole.
Yeah.
or cheesy hash browns, or those potatoes, or
if-
party potatoes.
Yeah. If you go to Wikipedia, all that's mentioned is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
It actually does, because in Wikipedia, it has a whole section for funeral potatoes, and it says, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS Church, call the casserole funeral potatoes because it is commonly served as a side dish during traditional after-funeral dinners, such as those planned by members of the Relief Society, an LDS auxiliary organization. So it's basically either cubed or shredded potatoes with cheese and butter and cheese and cream sauce and cheese and maybe onions and then crispy things on top.
cornflakes on
and cheese.
top.
Yeah.
And cheese.
And cheese. Did I
Yeah.
forget cheese?
Yeah.
There's more cheese on the top there.
I put it on a tier 2. It's I love funeral potatoes. I think
Yeah.
they're really tasty, but I just never think of it as Thanksgiving.
Would you say it's a
right.
tier 1 food? Like overall?
Yeah, I would say
But it's
tier
just
1.
Thanksgiving.
But
the
for
setting.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
tier 2.
If we were having our Easter show,
Yeah.
Easter
Yeah,
food show.
Easter, Christmas,
Or a
too.
funeral
Kinda-
show.
kinda- they kind of go with ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think of it
Seriously.
Actually
together.
true.
Ham and funeral potatoes together, I think, is delicious. So I'm right there with you. I mean, why do you think that funeral potatoes are served at funerals? Because they are so comforting.
They are.
And that's what you
Yeah.
need, right? They are
Yeah.
wonderful. They are they are absolutely a tier 1 food, but kind of weird in this context. I'm probably not going to have funeral potatoes and mashed potatoes. So I did move these to tier 2, which feels bad because they're so delicious, but it not my favorite in the Thanksgiving context.
I probably will have mashed potatoes and funeral potatoes because I love them both so much. One of my favorite things, and this sounds weird, one of my favorite things about funerals is the after dinner where you have you can tell this was made by like 7 different women.
Yeah.
And
They all have their different
and they all have
brands.
their different yeah.
It's judging. Are we going to have a funeral potato rink?
We should. They have their different Pyrex.
So we're going to go to
pan.
different funerals.
Now backed by science.
The different glassware.
Do you judge
and
it
they have
based on the
different
pan?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
But
If
it's all
they
about
have their
presentation.
last name on the bottom of the pan.
They do.
Yeah.
And so we want to get it back. It's a nice Pyrex thing.
Pyrex, yeah.
So then, but then as I go into it, and I can kind of tell, that's going to be one I don't like as much because
Right.
this and that.
It's like
but I
mushy.
love trying the different kinds and seeing which one I like the best. But this is one that I enjoy, and I'm giving it a tier 1 because
Wow.
I love funeral
So this is
potatoes.
plate number 1 for you.
If possible. If
Yeah.
I can make real estate for funeral potatoes, they'll go right next to the regular potatoes, and sometimes gets mixed together.
Okay.
And sometimes put gravy on the funeral potatoes.
Oh, I
and
don't
your
know about
heart
that.
stops
Yeah.
immediately.
That's almost poutine.
Yeah, it is.
With gravy.
So I'm going to go with these guys. This is a tier 2 because it's a good food. Sometimes it's not quite seasoned enough because I may not be able to trust other
I have
people's
so
recipes.
much pepper on it when I do
Yeah,
it.
and you'd have to. And so I don't really have it for Thanksgiving, but at the same time, I wouldn't turn it down.
No.
But it would not be on my first plate whatsoever. So tier 2.
You know, speaking of funerals, I once went to one, and
Hello.
it was I've been to a couple, but I went to a funeral, and I was like, man, this is a bummer day, but man, I'm sure excited for those potatoes. And we were waiting there and waiting for like the after service food, and I'm like, oh, here we go, ham and potatoes, and it was lasagna and salad, and I've never been more disappointed.
What?
So Zach and Joel, they read the obituaries, so they can know which funerals to go to.
So the sequel to Wedding Crashers.
Funeral
It's sad.
Crashers.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It does feel like kind of a letdown when funeral potatoes aren't there at it.
You died for nothing.
That's the letdown. That's the letdown. Okay. Well, this just got dark. So this is one that I've never had at Thanksgiving as well, but I think maybe you put it on the list, Joel, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. It's squash.
Yeah. So
It's a really fall food, you know?
like it really is like this is like you basically cut a squash in half, a butternut squash in half, and put some butter on it, maybe some brown sugar or something,
sugar.
and then you just throw it in the oven.
Yeah.
And then it comes out, and it's just you got to dig in there with a spoon and get the squash.
See, I think of it more like diced.
Yeah, sometimes it's cubed.
Yeah.
Right? Cubed looks
yeah.
really good,
But this is different from like sweet potatoes or yams or anything. That this is the one that's a little more vegetable-y.
like butternut squash is
Yeah.
kind of like
Right.
the
Yeah.
dish.
Yeah.
For me, I've never had it at Thanksgiving. I guess I have to give it a tier 3. But I mean, it does seem like a good idea and might be a good addition. I'd probably rather have it than like carrots. So, but I have to give it a tier 3.
Well, see, and I feel like that they were. This is them trying to be healthy. I don't know why, but this always feels like they're trying to be healthy with the butternut squash, and it just doesn't seem to fit. It's not quite potatoes,
Right.
It's not quite the sweet potatoes, and so it's this weird kind of vegetable-y middle ground.
Kind
And
of
I'm-
extra.
But
Don't
I
really need it.
I don't like the look of it. I don't like the taste of it. This is a tier 3 for me.
Yeah, I think it's like bottom of the potato yam tier list.
Yeah.
Like it's still
The
fine.
tubers, bottom of the tubers.
Right. It's the worst tuber. But it looks delicious. But once again, I'll probably skip it. I don't know, just because I've had so many other vegetables.
Yeah. So you're a tier 3?
Yeah, tier 3.
I put it tier 3 as well. Probably one of my more favorite vegetables, actually. But
Really?
I think vegetables belong.
I do love
Lower
a good
in
butternut squash soup.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's true.
If you get a butternut squash
Yes,
soup, those are quite
yeah,
good. I enjoy
very
those.
good. Blue Lemon has really good butternut squash soup.
Oh.
Yum.
Go check it out.
All right, we've had
Not
a
a
couple.
sponsor.
We've had a couple of fringe items. Let's go to one that I think is kind of part of the main ensemble: stuffing. What do you think, Joel? What fun facts do you have about stuffing?
Fun fact: you take soggy bread and stuff it in the cavity of a dead bird, and then you decide to eat it. Oh, let's throw some celery in there. That'll be a good idea.
Hey, Ken, calm down.
This is over-seasoned garbage. I do not enjoy stuffing. This is an easy tier 3 for me. Every time I've tried it, I've been disappointed because it's either too salty or it just tastes like stuffing, which is a bad taste. I do not.
It tastes like stuffing. Tastes like stuffing.
You never had your friend over for dinner at 6 to have a stovetop stuffing,
No.
and then he had you at his house at 8 o'clock for stovetop stuffing.
No.
Remember those commercials?
No, I don't. I already blocked him out. But literally, you're taking stale bread, adding water to it, and then steaming it. That does not sound appetizing.
Mr. Fancy.
Who hurt you?
Yeah, seriously.
Stuffing.
No.
Stuffing hurt me.
Wow.
So it's a tier 3.
Yes.
So here's some fun facts for you. About 50% of Americans stuff their Thanksgiving birds with stuffing. November 21st is National Stuffing Day. Joel, it has its own holiday, so enjoy that.
So does the devil.
And Stovetop now sells around 60 million boxes of the devil. I couldn't even. Wait, hold on.
What holiday is that?
Wait, is that Hilton Day? Oh, that's good. Anyways, no more fun facts. It's a tier 1.
Yeah.
This is straight up tier 1. You need this on your first plate. And now, look, I'm not going to eat stuffing on its own. And by the way, in my family, we don't stuff the bird because that's gross.
A lot of people don't.
Right. And it's half
They
the
eat
people
the giblets, though.
Because
I think it's kind of universally known now that that's not super safe, and you could get some foodborne illness
It's
that
all
way.
baked out. It all tastes gross anyway.
It all tastes gross. But I think I wouldn't really eat it on its own, but covered in gravy and mashed potatoes and some turkey there too. It's the party, and it's a tier 1. Sorry, Joel.
Tier 1?
Tier 1.
Oh, I put this as tier 1 too.
Yeah.
When I think of Thanksgiving, like this is one of the things that has to be
Soggy
there.
It's got the
bread.
crunch with
And
the
it's
celery.
my
and
grandma's recipe.
Soggy bread. What's that crunch? That's
None
celery?
of this like stovetop. No, you like get the bread and you toast it and you break it up into pieces and it's a whole ordeal and you make it like the day before. But
Yeah.
It's definitely tier 1.
You guys have given a really hard time to stovetop, and shame on you. I think even stovetop is delicious. I love stuffing.
Box stovetop?
It is good.
I like it. Okay.
Well-
I don't know what. Do you like bread pudding?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not just a soggy bread thing. It's just.
No, it's a taste thing. I always feel like whenever I eat like stuffing that it's way too salty and just it's soggy salty. That's not a good combination of
Have you
it.
tried covering it in gravy? It's real good with
Am I
gravy.
help?
It may help.
Yeah. It's a tier 1 for me. It's
Oh my gosh.
definitely. You're talking first plate. You got to have it. It's a staple.
It does not make the plate.
If I was building a casserole, like the stuffing would definitely be like the top layer. Like
Yeah.
it is a vital part to a Thanksgiving.
That's my third
plate.
bite.
Is it the crusty outer edges of the stuffing you guys like? Is that the fun part?
It's all of it.
Or do you
All
like
of
the
it.
watery middle? Just tell me which part is
You
the
have
best
just
part.
had some
Maybe
terrible
nobody's
stuffing.
making it well for you.
I'm still confused about the devil's birthday.
His birthday is a national holiday.
Now, how about candied yams? Let's go to you, Kent.
So candied yams are full of antioxidants and have more nutrients than spinach or broccoli. So this is one of the superfoods.
Now, if you let's clarify, candied yams. This is kind of the chunk or
Sliced.
like
Yeah.
circles or chunks of these sweet potatoes or yams that are usually covered in like brown sugar,
Butter and brown sugar.
Well, it's funny because they're so healthy. They have almost no fat, and so it's one of the most healthy vegetables.
That's
you
why
can
you
eat.
add
Not
some
the
cover.
candied type.
You
but just
cover
the
them in
yams.
everything.
Right.
But even then, if you just like bake a yam, it's actually quite delicious.
Yeah.
So it's a good start.
better than stuffing.
Also, Americans eat about 7.5 pounds of sweet potatoes per year, and I know sweet potatoes and yams are kind of different, but I think in this
I
family
really
they kind
potato,
of mix
potato.
together. You're right.
Tubers.
Which butternut squash is not, by the
No.
way.
No. Oh, now you bring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mother makes delicious candied yams.
Yeah.
I used to hate them up
Yeah.
until about 5 years ago, and I'm like, I'm going to give these a shot. And they're amazing.
Yeah.
This is a tier 1. This is on the plate. This is the only sweet thing I'll put on my plate with the other savory stuff. And if gravy touches it, that's okay. Because
It's
the
a nice
molasses
combination.
It's still a nice combination because it's
Yeah.
got the sweet and the salty. So yeah, this is a tier 1 for me. Surprisingly,
Yeah, this is tier 1 for me too.
Nice.
Actually, top of the tier 1.
Top of the tier 1?
Top of the tier 1.
Thanksgiving.
This is-
grandma's
is
this bite
recipe.
number 1?
This is prime
Yeah,
real estate on
probably-
your plate.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
It has to be. It's not Thanksgiving without grandma's. Yeah.
and so you do have a family recipe that's
We
been
do,
passed down.
yeah,
That's
just-
amazing.
Yep.
Because I imagine there are versions of all of these foods that we've all had bad experiences with at Thanksgivings.
Yeah.
But obviously we're going with our favorite one. So
Well,
that's
they're
awesome.
kinda
It's a ratio thing.
We have other people over for Thanksgiving. Well, not this year, but other
Yeah.
years where we're just, people who don't have anywhere to go and, oh, what do you want me to bring? I'll bring this. And I find myself like, you're bringing yams? Well, I'm going to make them too. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna make them right.
I'm gonna make them better.
Yeah.
Well, show you up a little bit.
Well, this brings
Or
up
just for the tradition's sake.
Yeah.
brings up an important question. Do you get marshmallows involved?
What?
Absolutely not.
That's later on.
Is
Not
it though?
for
Is
these.
it?
I don't.
No.
Yes.
Is it because I've seen it? I've seen marshmallows tied with this.
No, it's more caramelized.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so this one, unfortunately, was one of mine that did get bumped to tier 2.
Okay.
Mostly because I have similar stories on another very closely related item on our list. So I didn't really grow up with candied yams, though they are super delicious. Just, when I was looking at my list, it did get bumped. However, I would put it like...
I can tell you
it
feel
doesn't-
bad about it.
It doesn't... It exists, but it is the top of tier 2. So.
I'm married into yams.
Wait, hold on. What?
So I didn't touch them growing up.
Oh, okay.
Like they weren't a big part of our Thanksgiving dinners, and when they were there, I kind of just went, it's that
Yeah.
weird,
Really
yam.
orange.
They're yams. I
Yeah.
don't want to try yams. They sound like yams.
Can you say it as like 14-year-old Joel?
Yams.
There we go.
Does that mean yams?
Yams, man.
But I married into them, and I thoroughly enjoy them now.
So it's your wife's family recipe.
My wife's family recipe. They do both the yams and the sweet potato souffle, which we'll talk about. But both, I was going to say candied yams is one that I'm like, yeah, this has become a new favorite of mine. But unfortunately, it's a new favorite, and so the old favorites still hold the guard on tier 1. So this got bumped down to a tier 2.
Second plate then.
I'd probably make room for like a couple of them on my plate. For that. So
do you have them like sliced? If you have like the discs,
I like the
you can
chunks.
get them.
Yeah, I like the chunks.
So we
They
all
melt in
agree,
your mouth.
delicious.
Yes.
Like you bite into them, it just kind of melts.
Yeah. I don't know. This might be a surprise, but I'm kind of hungry now.
You just had pie
I know. I could use more.
and a Bahama Mama.
Oh, no, don't remind me. Okay. Now let's move over to salad. Are we talking like green salad here?
Side salad.
That's what I want
Side
to know.
salad.
I
Yeah.
thought it was
Caesar?
green salad. In my mind, and that's the thing is we go with what we thought, right?
Yeah.
Like my sister-in-law makes this fantastic Snicker salad where it's like
yeah.
apples and Snicker, green
Apples
apples and
and,
Snickers,
like,
and,
vanilla pudding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. It's not what I think of when I think of salad.
I've had at a Thanksgiving before, they called it cookie salad, and it was like those EL fudge, like striped
Oh, yeah,
fudge
the
cookies
striped
yeah.
and mandarin oranges
Yeah.
in pudding. It's delicious, but
Gross.
also gross.
Yeah.
It was very
Of course, then you
strange.
have the Jello salad where you're like, oh, that looks good because it's Jello, and then all of a sudden, a little pineapple gets in there and it ruins everything.
Or a little cottage cheese, also something I hate.
It's fine as long
No.
as it's all pink.
Jen, save us.
No, I was thinking green salad.
Yeah, I
I
think it's
was
side
too,
salad.
so I put it tier 3.
Yeah.
Green salad. For Thanksgiving,
You're saying this meal is not about health?
Right, no.
Right.
No, it's an indulgent holiday.
But that's why it's there.
No.
It's there. You can take the occasional bite and be like, I'm eating healthy.
Yeah, but it's like every plate's gone and
But
there's a
why
full
would you
bowl of
pretend?
salad.
Yeah.
And whoever brought that is like, oh.
Too bad.
Yeah, you cut open 2 bags and put it in a bowl. Congratulations. No,
I added the vinaigrette.
this is a 2. This is definitely a tier 3.
Oh,
Salad's fine, but this is Thanksgiving. Now, this is the Super Bowl of food. Why are we eating green salad? No
see,
way.
I think, sometimes it's thought of as an afterthought, but I think it's a good mix from all the carbohydrates and proteins that you're eating. I will put salad on my
your
on my
halftime.
plate.
Do you really eat
Yeah,
it? Or
and I
does
do.
it just sit on your
well,
plate?
So it's basically a pool of ranch with little lettuce sticking out of it. But
And then gravy.
And that's
yeah,
healthy.
gravy on top of it.
Gravy.
But then no, I enjoy like jumping over to the salad every now and then being like, yeah, there's a break and back to the main dish. So I'm giving this a tier 2 because I'm like, it's a break from the usual. I still enjoy it though.
There are times when dipping a roll into ranch or some other dressing is a good little break.
We'll get
from
there.
all the gravy you've had. But still, side salad is a tier 3 because let's not kid ourselves. That's not what this meal is about.
Right.
You guys, stop. I wasn't even a big disagreement, but I thought at least one of you was going to be somewhat healthy.
No, that's not what it's for.
How much ranch is on your salad?
So much.
So what? Don't talk to me about health.
It's a competition between how much gravy and ranch I can put on my plate or butter.
Quotable quotes. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, you mentioned them. Let's bring them up here. This is a good time to talk rolls. So rolls for me, again, when you think about your default, I'm thinking about a white, fluffy, soft, delicious, maybe a little bit more dense roll.
White? It's not like browned on the top, like golden brown?
Yes, it is, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
But I'm talking white bread. I have, however, had these these dry,
crunchy ones.
gross,
The store-bought
crunchy-
ones. Is that what you mean?
When rolls are good, they are good.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when they're bad, they're disgusting.
But
Like, I
we've
really hate
talked about the best of the best in this show.
Yes. And so for my default is a delicious, dense, basically it is the things that's sopping up the gravy on your plates. They're delicious. I love them so much, more than most of my family, tier 1.
Do you put butter? Do you cut it into it and put butter in the middle?
Or
you just sop it up?
That might be a step too far.
I do.
No, I don't. That's what toast is for. No, I just leave it as is. I
There's
rip it off in
gravy.
chunks. And
Yeah.
You
then,
don't need the butter.
No, I love dipping them in gravy. I love dipping them in ranch. I love putting butter and jam on them. I love making little sandwiches.
Is this a poem that you wrote?
Ode to roll.
Ode to rolls.
Dear diary.
No, but I love making the little sandwiches with them when you peel it apart and you put the turkey and then maybe some like funeral potatoes and then some ranch and an olive and you put that
Slow
all together.
down.
Olive.
And you eat that.
Are you saying during the Thanksgiving
I'm
meal?
making sandwiches with the rolls during Thanksgiving.
Not
dinner.
even for leftovers.
In fact, well, I do leftovers too.
Sure.
But I eat way too many rolls. I start to get full on
gotta
rolls.
stop it.
Because I'm eating it
It's
with
a 2
my
roll
meal.
maximum.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because there's so much other food there.
Yeah.
I have a
And
roll.
They have a
For
tray for a
leftovers.
reason.
You got to pace yourself.
I eat a roll in the line of food while
Yes.
I'm waiting to get the other side. And then I grab
Also,
one to go.
My mother-in-law, she a lot of times will do orange rolls as part of the table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've had that.
good.
Delicious.
So tier 1 for me, definitely.
Like, let's not kid ourselves. This is bread. It's like, oh, bread's so bad. And cooked bread, amazing.
It's only bad.
Yeah,
It's only
cooked
bad if
bread.
you like dump a bunch of water on it and then jam some celery in it.
So good. Still tier 1. Rolls are amazing. And yeah, like Rhodes rolls, for example, like you can buy
Not
those
a
from the
sponsor.
store. Not a sponsor, but absolutely amazing. Cooked the right way. How they sop everything up. I love rolls. Who doesn't?
Yeah. Tier 1 for
Tier
me
1.
too.
Tier 1
for
all around?
But it has to be homemade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Store bought, no.
Why is it that like every roll you get from a soup place or a sandwich place is just dry and gross?
I don't know, but if you add a little bit of ranch and funeral potatoes and cheese and then crackers and then
Rehydrate.
Without rolls, you wouldn't have the staple leftovers. Because
Yeah.
having turkey
Right.
sandwiches the next day.
Yeah.
Or for me,
amazing.
I do we're having conversation near the kitchen after. I'm like, I'll make a quick sandwich.
Yeah.
Because your rolls generally aren't super large. And so,
But why
it's-
wait for the leftovers? Why not make them a sandwich when you're at the table? Fresh, hot sandwich.
It's too much work because
Too
I
much
just want
work, yeah.
I just want to put
You're
my
burning
fork,
the calories
I
as
wanna-
you're eating them.
I want to close my eyes, put my fork down, and put it in my mouth.
How do you make sandwiches while doing a headstand? How are you burning calories?
You burn calories doing anything. Breathing burns calories. Labored breathing, more calories.
Labored breathing while eating.
I like rolls. Now, next up is corn. Now, I guess this can be taken multiple ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's corn on the cob, there's loose corn, there's creamed corn.
I think cream corn.
Really?
Yeah,
I
when
don't
you
know
think
that
of
I've
corn?
ever had creamed corn.
Really?
I just have it like, loose in a bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm totally fine with a canned corn with
People do
salt and
corn on
pepper.
the cob at Thanksgiving.
It's a little late for it to be.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not
In
season.
season.
Yeah, so it's
But
usually
people
it's
do.
corn.
It's just
People
canned
do.
corn.
I saw this on like the national list of favorite Thanksgiving items.
Well, I was thinking
Corn on the cob.
I'm trying to think of what's the most common corn at Thanksgiving. It's got to be loose
Yeah,
corn, right?
Probably frozen.
Loose corn,
Yeah.
just. Blech.
You know what? I do enjoy corn, and I'm the one that will put it on top of the mashed potatoes. Like I'll incorporate the corn.
Yeah,
into
Wait,
they're
my
so you
really
just made your own
good
KFC mashed potato bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it is delicious, and I'm going to give it a tier 2 because it's usually buttery, salty goodness added to buttery, salty goodness, and it all kind of mixes well together.
Yeah.
So, tier 2 for me.
No nutritional value whatsoever because it's corn.
There's some.
Is there, Jen? Is there any
Dr.
nutritional
Jen.
value?
Actually, it's not as bad as we used to think.
Okay, that's it. I'm putting
you don't
more on.
digest
More
it as
butter,
much.
more salt.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
just- yep.
I mean, corn syrup I love, and that's really
Right?
healthy.
High
So,
fructose
Yeah.
corn.
yeah, and generally I will have cream corn, and I think like not
No,
from
cream corn. I think of cream of wheat when I think of cream corn. What's cream corn?
Oh, it's sweet. It's got the it's like a thick base to it.
Okay.
And have you never had it like
Almost
at a barbecue
like corn
place?
gravy.
I
or,
maybe have.
Yeah, it is kind of corn gravy.
Corn gravy sounds good.
No, but if you can get it, like you can get this in the can, and it's fine if you're young and you're hungry. But
Absolutely, yeah.
homemade cream corn is amazing. It's still a tier 2 for me because I'm not really gonna mix it on my plate with anything else. But I will eat it if it's available. So
Yeah, I like.
Oh,
generally, I like,
yeah.
I like
You've
corn
had
a
cream
lot,
corn.
but it's a tier 3 for me. Just
Tier 3?
for
Just 'cause it's
making
corn.
room. Yeah.
yeah,
It looks like macaroni and cheese, but it's a liar. 'Cause it's not
imposter macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
I love corn. I think it's delicious. I especially like it with mashed potatoes. And like I said earlier, I don't generally put too much gravy on my mashed potatoes. So I like to mix corn and mashed potatoes. I don't have it a lot at Thanksgiving, but it is delicious. And I give it a tier 2.
Okay. So mostly tier 2s except for Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you give it, Joel?
2. I gave it
2. Okay. So there we go. Now, you just brought this up. I don't know why it's on this list because I've never had it. But macaroni and cheese?
No, this was a weird one because
What?
this kept popping up on lists, and it's because it's becoming a more traditional food. It's for the honestly, it's for the picky eaters, or it was like
Kids.
they're getting rid of quote unquote the weird dishes and putting these kind of fancier macaroni and cheeses in there.
Oh,
Right,
so
with
it's got
extra
like
cheeses,
breadcrumbs
some
on
crunchy
it,
stuff,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah. So this is becoming, and in the South it's very popular too. But this is becoming more and more prevalent in Thanksgivings of today.
I'm not super picky. Maybe I am. But I would kind of scoff if I walked by this and saw this on the table. It's a tier 3 for me. And I'd be like, hey, kids table, come on over. We got
Yeah.
mac and cheese for you.
Yeah.
That's like better than any craft you've ever had. It's always good for a side. Like macaroni and cheese isn't gross. It's just not for Thanksgiving. So it's a tier 3.
Yeah. It's tier 3. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of just taking a gamble. You don't really know if it's a really good mac and cheese or not. And
Right.
just not Thanksgiving food. So,
So what do you give it?
yeah,
Tier 3.
Tier 3.
Tier
Would
3?
you
Okay.
would you judge someone if they brought a tray of macaroni
Mac
and cheese?
to Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Probably.
You would judge them? Everyone know who's listening to this.
What if they took some soggy bread
Oh, jeez.
and then threw some celery at it?
This is a tier 1 food on a tier 1 day, and they just don't mix very well. I'm giving this a tier 3.
Okay. Wow.
And me personally, I actually do enjoy macaroni and cheese. And when they get fancy, I enjoy them more. But I have to admit, when I saw this on the kept popping up on the list, I was kind of annoyed by it because I'm like, macaroni and cheese, that's not Thanksgiving.
You're right.
I would eat it if it were there.
Right.
But I'm going to give it a tier 3.
It's just another carb on a plate of carbs.
Yes.
And it's probably the lesser carb.
Yeah. So tier 3 on this one, only
Is there,
because it doesn't.
is there a
belong.
lesser
No,
carb?
there's not.
No, come on.
But I will happily try your macaroni and cheese if you want to bring it to me.
How about cornbread? Cornbread is on this list. And I've never had cornbread on Thanksgiving.
Me neither.
But I want to.
Well, some people make stuffing with cornbread, right? Just cornbread.
Yum!
I put this as a tier 2 because I think it would be good. Like, I've never had it, but I agree with you. I think it might be nice to try, but it wouldn't replace rolls. So,
Yeah, I'd
Right.
rather have a roll.
meh, I don't know. Tier 2, I like cornbread. Maybe I'll try making it this year.
I think cornbread's delicious.
Yeah.
Do you guys take your cornbread with chunks? Do you like it to have chunks of corn?
No.
I do.
No.
Heavens, no.
No.
Why?
I have had. It's good.
That means someone
I really
didn't-
like
someone
corn,
didn't
guys.
mix the batter well enough. If that's the
There's
case.
vegetables in my dessert. Knock it off.
I've never had it, so it ended up as a tier 3 for me. But I mean, I think I'd try it. But again, I'd probably just rather have a regular roll.
Okay.
What about you, Joel?
So I've had too many bad cornbreads, just dry, crumbly, tasteless cornbreads to really give this high real estate. If there's honey butter on the table, yeah, I'll put that on.
And there would
cornbread.
be.
Yeah.
But I think it needs a lot of honey butter for the most part to be palatable. In most cases, I do enjoy. I've had some really good cornbreads, but for the most part, it's been bad experiences, and I don't really want this on my plate at Thanksgiving. So barbecue, sure, if I'm having a barbecue, but not at Thanksgiving. This is a tier 3.
So I enjoy cornbread. I think it's a worthwhile carb, but it's not the kind of carb I want on my Thanksgiving plate because if mashed potatoes touch it, it actually doesn't improve the experience, right? It'll probably get crumbly
What?
and then mix in. So, I mean,
That's potato blasphemy.
If gravy and mashed potatoes touch my cornbread, it's a no-go.
But gravy mashed potatoes makes anything better.
It should, but not for cornbread. And so it's also a little too filling. Like I'd rather have a roll or a biscuit. And so it's a tier 2.
Okay.
Okay, we did bring something very similar to this up earlier. So this is a slight variant: sweet potato casserole.
Now this is the more kind of pureed one that you're gonna like put marshmallows on top or pecans on top or something like that.
I've never had it with marshmallows. Not
No?
once.
Oh.
But I see it all the time, and it's like this famous thing. But I've never had it.
And shoppers purchased nearly 50 million pounds of sweet potatoes in the week
Wow.
before Thanksgiving. So this is a popular okay. So I'm not going to pretend like I know the difference between sweet potatoes and yams.
I
off the top
Google
of
it
my
every
head.
year, and I never remember.
Yeah, and I know there's people out there that know better than I do.
When you have this, it's basically the mush underneath the layers, right?
Right, right.
It's
Yes.
not the
No, we're not
chunks
talking
or the
about
slices. Well, it kind of is like the stuffing of sweet treats, though.
Yeah.
Is it though? Because there's
Yeah.
no celery in it.
Oh, this one has pecans to take place of celery.
Crunch. Yeah.
So generally, I like this because you get more butter because it's all like mixed through, and that crust that you can get really delicious, like you said, pecan and brown sugar crusts on this. This is the dish that my mom always brought to Thanksgiving, so I have a lot of really fond memories. Which and again, it's something that I ate later in life, much like you can. I didn't try for a while, and then when I finally did, it was like, wow, these adults are pretty smart. I love it. It's delicious. It's definitely tier 1. It has to go on that first plate. Every
Okay.
time.
And I was thinking about it, and I don't know if I've tried the kind with marshmallows, but I've definitely tried my wife's family. Like I said, I married into yams and sweet potatoes, and my wife's family does the pecans.
Tried
on
to
top,
marry
the-
for money,
the
I'm married for
caramelized
yams.
ones. And this, so between this one and like the chunks or the puree, I choose the chunks, but the puree is also good.
Okay.
And so I give this one a tier 2 as well. I put them kind of right by each other because I'm like, yeah, these are both in that area where I'm like, I'm happy to try these. But if I had to choose, it would be the candied yams or candied sweet potatoes before this one. Tier 2.
I've never had a good sweet potato casserole ever. Up until tonight, I didn't like pecans very much. Thanks,
Up until tonight, too.
thanks to the pecan pie that Jen brought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
thanks, Jen.
absolutely amazing because they were cooked. It seems like the sweet potato casserole I've had, it's like they just opened a box of Planters or a little can and added those
gotta
pecans
toast 'em
like
first.
right before they
Yeah.
walked in the door.
Caramelizing going.
Yeah, and
There you
they
go.
taste way too dry.
Yeah.
And the mush, it doesn't. Maybe the butter doesn't get through it, but I've never had a good one. I'm giving this one a tier 3.
Wow.
And I'd like to try your mom's sweet potato casserole, Zach.
You should. It's delicious.
I would agree.
What do you think, Jen?
Amen.
You
I
tried
put
his
it-
mom's
I put
casserole?
it tier 3.
Yeah.
Same thing. The candied yams, my grandma's recipe, just always were what we had at Thanksgiving. Never had the casserole, and the marshmallows just kind of off-putting.
Yeah.
Sounds like, I could leave it.
Yeah, if you're gonna eat something
I like
really
sweet
sweet,
potatoes, but
try
yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I understand. Like I'm willing to call nostalgia on that, but My mom makes it very, very well. It's delicious. I want to talk about a big dog. We're gonna get into some gnarly stuff now.
We don't eat that for Thanksgiving.
What? I was
Meat dog?
Meat dog.
Return to meat dog.
No, I would like to talk about white meat turkey.
So we decided to split up white meat and dark meat just because there is a dichotomy there where people will argue over which is better.
Yeah, one's delicious and one's white meat.
By the way, Americans...
Plenty of facts on this one, I'm sure.
Yes. Americans prepare 46 million turkeys for Thanksgiving each year. That's about 720 million pounds of turkey, which is about 720 million pounds of turkey. That's a lot of turkey. That's about as many turkeys. The 46 million, 45 million is about the entire population of Spain.
Wow.
If Spain were made up of turkeys.
We eat Spain every year in turkeys.
Yes, yeah, basically. Also, fun fact, only male turkeys gobble. Female turkeys cackle instead.
Makes so much sense.
And Kent's going to now just do the two different cackle versus gobble. Tell us, Kent, what's it like?
That is also my experience with male and females at Thanksgiving. The males gobble while the females cackle.
I don't even know where to go from here. But did you know that Alexander Hamilton once remarked that, I want to wrap this, but
What's his name?
Alexander Hamilton,
Okay, cool.
in the song You'll Never Be Satisfied, he said, no citizen of the U.S. shall refrain from turkey on Thanksgiving Day. That's a much recently respected figure, Alexander Hamilton.
Let's say I think it was Benjamin Franklin who was it Benjamin Franklin?
Yeah, it was
Thomas
Benjamin
Jefferson
Franklin.
who wanted the turkey to be this. No, Benjamin Franklin wanted it to be this.
No, he really revered the turkey. He didn't like the eagle,
Right.
But he never said the turkey should be the national bird. He just said it's a very brave bird, and he liked it more than the eagle. But
Jefferson wanted the dove,
yeah.
according to the musical 1776.
I've actually heard that
I don't
Tom
even know if
Turkey.
that's true.
I've actually heard that Tom Turkey came from Benjamin Franklin, kind of naming the turkey
Oh, really?
after Thomas
Okay.
Jefferson. But anyway,
Also, let's talk about tryptophan. There's actually no scientific evidence that the amount of tryptophan in turkey can cause post-meal drowsiness.
It just irritates me when people talk about it. It's like the 4,000 calories are what's making you tired.
Yeah.
Your body's working to digest. right now.
I get super tired and I eat literally one piece of turkey.
Yeah,
So much tryptophan in that one piece. So white meat, I feel like has the most potential for being bad, meaning dried out. I feel
Okay.
like, but when it's right, it's so good. I'm giving this a tier 1.
Yeah.
White meat, tier 1.
This is the easiest tier 1. This is the first bite with gravy, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a white meat fan. And you're right. It can be too dry, but that's why you just hurry and get to the table first and grab the juicy pieces.
Instead of the women and children and older folks.
Oh, wait, there's some of those? Sorry, guys. They can have the mac and cheese. It's a tier 1.
I was surprised at myself in looking at all these. Like when I think of what makes Thanksgiving, of course there has to be turkey, and
Yes.
I prefer the white meat over the dark meat. But I put this tier 2 just because
Wow.
I know. But I would rather have all of the other tier 1. The other tier 1s are what define Thanksgiving
But
is like
Thanksgiving-
flavors and nostalgia. Like turkey's just kind of the vehicle.
Okay.
Like
Turkey defines Thanksgiving.
it does. That's
It
why
is.
it surprised myself. I was like, well,
Wow.
I guess this is tier 2.
But it would still go on your first plate, though,
Still
right?
on my first plate. Yeah,
it's just
it
kinda
was
there.
just barely at the top of tier 2.
It's almost like you put it on your plate because you'd be embarrassed if you didn't.
well, I like it, but it's just
You don't have to lie to
what
us.
makes
This is
Thanksgiving
Baconsale, honesty.
like stuffing and candied yams are like above.
Stuffing over turkey.
Because you eat turkey
That's
like a lot of
insanity.
other days of the year. I don't like turkey sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's,
We're all shocked.
I know it's like
Wow.
a travesty, but
Wow.
tier 2.
If I could have a Thanksgiving made up entirely of side dishes, I would do it. Turkey is something I put on my plate so I don't feel embarrassed.
Are you serious?
I don't put it because I want it. I put it because it's Thanksgiving.
What? What?
I am giving it a tier 2.
Yes.
So you would almost have no meat on
This
your
may
plate.
be this may be the biggest meat controversy we've had on Bacon Sale.
second biggest. No, it's tradition. It's important. I get one piece. I completely put either gravy or cranberry sauce just all over it, and just to try and get it down.
What?
I don't.
But
really
what about
like it that
sandwiches
much.
the next day? You got to give it credit for that.
Wow.
It's
We'll have our own turkey party.
Yeah, we will.
there is a superior turkey, and that brings me to
Is it tofurkey?
dark meat turkey.
Dark meat, obviously. I think a lot of people judge us if we, so for example, judge away because I don't like dark meat as much as I like the white meat. I think it does taste better.
It's racist.
Well, yes, by that context, sure. Dark meat can taste much, much better. Like it has a natural taste to it. but I think it's so inconsistent. Like Joel, you said white meat is more, you can be more dry or whatnot, but I feel like I've had really bad dark meat on turkey and I've had really good. So, but my first serving, I'll grab the white meat, and the second serving, I'm like, I'm going to try the dark meat and see if it is better. But it is a tier 2 for that reason. It's still fantastic. It's still turkey.
Dr. Kent, why is some meat white meat and some meat is dark meat?
It's a good question. I don't know.
It's because the muscles that are more used are the darker meat.
That's right.
So now you know that like the legs and stuff like that's going to be darker meat because that's where the muscles have been used.
So if cannibals were to eat us, we'd be pretty white inside as well.
And on the outside. Yeah, on the outside.
Yeah.
It's a weird way of putting it, but okay.
Their Thanksgiving.
What do you think, Jen?
I put this as tier 3. Not a big dark meat fan.
Never
I know,
been.
Nah.
Gosh.
It's all right, but I think it's just more variable. Like just kind of a hit or miss. There's can be gristle more with it and just bad parts.
Just think of the big old turkey legs.
Turkey legs.
Disneyland. That's dark meat.
Those are not very good.
That's delicious.
They're delicious.
They're not very overrated.
I give this a tier 1. I think it's delicious, but like I said, it's probably near the bottom of my tier 1 list. But I do I like it again with gravy and a lot of it. But tier 1 for me, it is good.
That is the most unenthusiastic tier 1 I've ever heard.
I feel obligated.
the bottom.
I feel obligated here.
It's still good.
I honestly, now that I have my list here and we've talked, I would probably swap this with candied yams and put it back at number 1. Like it's fine. I feel the obligation of the holiday to have turkey, and I prefer dark meat.
Don't feel shame about turkey.
I do.
Do what you need to do.
Seriously, I would do all sides. And you think about it, like the turkey, the margin of error there is like crazy small. Like you can have a really bad turkey really quickly.
But gravy covers a whole multitude of sins.
So gravy is great and turkey is fine.
So some more fun facts. So I wanted to save some for dark meat. According to the National Turkey Federation, which is a thing.
The NC.
Okay.
88
They go bowling a lot.
88% of Americans chat on Thanksgiving turkey each Thanksgiving.
Makes sense.
The turkeys weigh an average of 16 pounds, though the heaviest turkey weighed 86 pounds.
What?
It's a big turkey. And Minnesota produces more turkey than any other state in America. They produced 44.5 million birds in 1 year.
Wow.
So they put a lot out there. And whether it's light meat, whether it's dark meat, I'm a turkey man. This is a tier 1. So I'm the only one that gave dark meat a tier 1. No, you gave dark meat a tier 1. Oh,
yeah.
kind of.
I gave it a
forgot.
technical tier 1. I gave it a guilty tier 1.
This is the worst thing ever. Tier 1.
I just feel like I have to. Because I gave orange juice like a tier 2 in our breakfast drinks.
Remember that.
Yeah. Okay, so I already mentioned it paired with the turkey. I love it. Cranberry sauce. What do you guys, when you think of cranberry sauce, what do you think of?
The can and that jiggle is just coming
right.
out.
The jiggle in the can,
Is it
and
jelly?
the lines of the can are just there to help you know where to slice.
Right? No, it's delicious either way. I make my own with just cranberries and sugar and water. You boil it down for 10 minutes. It's super easy, but really delicious. I put this tier 1, which is weird because I usually just eat it with turkey.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things that makes Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I've had it in several different forms, so I love it from the can in slices. I like it in, like as you said, maybe a more traditional sauce. I've also had it in like I think it was called a cranberry relish, and it had like even orange in it.
Yeah.
Delicious. Pretty much every form. I do think it makes turkey better, and I love a good turkey cranberry sandwich any time of the year. So I give it a tier 1.
You know, cranberries were actually used by Native Americans as a potent red dye. That's really all they're good for. They are not good. I was going to say, it's like cranberry's one of those, even juices. You drink it, you're like, yum. Oh, there's the bitter. Don't like that.
And Ocean Spray's like cran in everything.
I was going to say the first canned jellied cranberry sauce was in 1912. And the guy that did it, Marcus Uran, ended up founding Ocean Spray. That was kind of the big player at the beginning. And Americans consume 80 million pounds of cranberries during Thanksgiving, including 5,062,500 gallons of jellied cranberry, enough to fill nearly 8 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Maybe it'd be fun to swim in, not fun to eat, tier 3.
Oh.
Imagine drowning in that.
Be the worst.
You're drowning in the
It'd be a
cranberries.
bitter
You're drowning.
death. You'd be gulping it like, oh, I got to get my water.
But then, Kent, you'd have funeral potatoes later at your funeral.
You'd have funeral potatoes.
I'd have funeral potatoes at his.
I'd fake my own death for funeral potatoes.
So, Joel, that was a tier 3?
Yes, tier 3.
This is one of the tieriest 3s of all. Quit trying to make cranberries a thing. People actually really appreciate that it's in can shape. You have to mold this thing down to be a sauce. Like, yeah, it's cool that it's homemade, but people are like,
It looks like
when you
beets.
pour it out, it's dog food. Like, that's the appearance. And people are like,
Dog food actually has texture.
You have to eat it with the other stuff. That's the thing is eat it with the turkey, with the
yeah, but
stuffing.
you hate it on
More
gravy
complex.
for not being standalone. This stuff
True.
is bitter poison. It's tier 3.
Kent's going to call you out for hypocrisy.
All right.
That's what I do once a show.
Wow. Tier 3.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so before we get off the cranberries topic, can I just throw out a piece of advice for you or something fun that you can do?
Sure.
We've done this a lot at Christmas in my family, but go and get yourself just cranberries. If you're making your own cranberry sauce, hold on to a handful of them. They're really fun. And if you just kind of let them sit out on the counter for a little bit, get kind of room temperature, then lay down on your back on the floor, put the cranberry on your lips and just kind of blow upward. You can make them hover over your mouth.
Do it with Skittles.
You can. Well,
I'd way rather do it with Skittles.
I do that with Skittles all the time. Every time I get a bag of Skittles, I'm like, kids, watch.
With Skittles.
Yeah.
Try it with cranberries. It's fun. It's fun for the holidays.
But then I have to
It's
eat.
like-
But then I have to eat the
It's
cranberry at the end.
room temperature. Lay on your back.
Yes.
Rest
I
on
know.
your
I
shoulder
thought this
blades.
was a recipe
I
of
thought he
some
was making
sort.
craisins.
I was like,
Let him
I
try
thought this is how you become a werewolf on the 7th day.
Absolutely. No. Try it. It's
The
fun.
Devil's
It's a good
Day.
time.
National Devil
That's
Holiday.
the Devil's Day. Now we know. It deals with cranberries.
Yeah, that
They're
makes
good
sense.
for your bladder.
Yeah. That's what I hear. That's a rumor
Right?
too.
Hey,
That's a
nuh-uh.
rumor.
Plumbers would say no because obvious reasons.
Stop.
Moving on to so we are down to our last 2 items. This is our penultimate, which we have the veggie tray. This is what Kent usually brings to a function if he has to bring something.
Accurate.
The veggie tray is not something at all that I'm going to even address until the meal is over. When I'm done with the meal and I'm just chit-chatting with people and, trying to update my aunt on something, like trying to tell her what a podcast is or something, I might grab a pepper or something. So I do think it's what I call mosey food. You just kind of mosey by and grab some, kind of graze, as you will.
Right.
So it's fine. But at the end of the day, I mean, I haven't even had it in my normal meal. Tier 3.
Well, I've got 5 reasons why this is a tier 1. And they're the olives on my 5 fingers.
You had to bring up olives.
I love putting the olives on the fingers and eating. Who doesn't love doing that?
You're
as
the
a
weird
kid?
cousin. You put their fingies and
Well, you
things.
put your you get them off the
Fingies.
You get them
Olive
off the
fingies.
serving table. Put on your own
Sure.
plate first. But I love dipping carrots and broccoli and olives into the
Do you skip anything like the beets?
Oh yeah, I don't
Yeah.
get all the vegetables, so I get the ones I like, and I even like fresh celery. I just don't like it in stuffing. I should clarify.
Yeah.
But I love the dill vegetable dip, like dill dip and ranch. Like both of those are just amazing. And so this is one of those cool, refreshing things that's in contrast to the hot, saucy things, like another
Right.
thing.
Saucy.
Saucy. I think of the gravy just everywhere. So it's like you have all the warm stuff, and then you eat a cool vegetable, and it's just this nice contrast and back and forth. This is like, I will get this on my first plate. I will snack on it before.
Wow.
I usually snack on it after.
But
It's tier 1. I
Tier
love
one?
veggie tray.
okay.
Veggie trade's tier 1.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
You're easily pleased. That's great.
By vegetables.
All right, I'll come to your Thanksgiving and you'll like what I bring. So yeah, this one for me, this is my pregame other than cheese and crackers. Well, no, instead of cheese and crackers, like this, like carrots, cauliflower, broccoli, all that dill ranch is actually really quite good. And I feel like I'm making room in my stomach for the meal that's about to come. I will not put this on my first plate. I won't touch these veggies afterwards because I feel like they dry up immediately, especially if this is a store-bought
But
veggie
Ken,
tray.
here's what you do. You take
Okay,
some
I'm
broccoli,
listening.
you put it on the counter, let it go out to room temperature.
Stop.
You lay on your back
Spin
on
around
it.
3 times. But yeah, so for me, this is tier 2.
I put this tier 2 as well, mostly for nostalgia's sake, like just pre-meal. Put out more of like a relish tray with olives and pickles and beets.
Oh,
and
pickles.
stuff like
Yes,
that,
I
yeah.
also forgot about the pickles. Little baby dills.
Yeah,
those
yeah.
are good
Yeah,
too.
those are good.
Just eat those before.
Don't put sweet pickles there,
No.
please, though. The table will get flipped.
Sweet pickles are like sneaky, aren't
No,
they?
no,
They are sneaky.
terrible.
It's like getting raisins
What?
in your chocolate chip cookie.
Have you had the famous Dave's, like the spicy sweet ones?
Okay,
But
spicy
when you're
is good.
expecting
They're super
it,
good.
it's good.
Oh
but
yeah, a surprise.
No, I'm telling you, like sweet pickles. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Sweet pickles and black licorice were good before candy was invented, but nowadays, no.
All right, well, we have concluded most of our list. And I would say we've concluded our meal. Therefore, we naturally have to move
Nap time.
for our last item.
We'll be back in a few hours.
Here we go.
2 hours later.
Let's move
Lions are playing.
to the classic last item, that dessert. Collectively, we're going to say pie.
Now
is the final
because
item.
we had a debate whether we were going to separate the pies, and we decided that would make our list way too long.
Right.
And we talked about maybe next year we just do a pie tiering show.
I would do that.
There's so many pies out there.
And what pies do you guys generally think of, right? For Thanksgiving?
Pumpkin, I think
Pumpkin.
is the first one that
Number
comes to mind.
one.
Pecan, and then like banana cream, coconut cream.
I can tell you guys, actually, pumpkin pie is the preferred pumpkin pie by far.
Pumpkin pie is the preferred pumpkin pie.
Followed by apple, then pecan.
Have you ever had an apple pie at Thanksgiving?
People bring them. I usually don't
Apple
eat
pie,
it. Yeah.
cherry, blueberry, peach. I mean, they're delicious, but I don't
They're good, but I
usually
don't
go
put 'em
that
at
direction.
Thanksgiving. I agree.
People purchase nearly 19 million ready-made pies ahead of the holiday. So the question is, do you purchase your pie or do you make your pie?
Honestly,
From now on, it's going to be homemade pies.
Homemade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So good, but so time-consuming.
Yeah. Take some time. You got to plan ahead.
I'm not pie biased too much. I'll take any pie.
Pie is
But-
pie.
Yeah, the homemade pies are better. I'll admit it. But like your store bought pies of even mediocre quality are still pretty delicious.
Yeah, like one time I got a freezer pie. It's kind of just
yeah.
a thing on a whim, and it still was good.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
like it thawed out, and it was.
You've never
good.
had a bad pumpkin pie?
No, I've had bad
Because you don't love pumpkin.
I don't like pumpkin spice. And
You
yes,
don't like
I've-
things that
I've-
are too clovey.
too clovey. Not a fan, or too nutmeggy. Even is pushing it. But this is,
I literally have no idea what the difference is between those two.
people. I was going to say Americans eat an estimated 50 million pumpkin pies on Thanksgiving alone. And pumpkin pie was, pumpkins was served in the original Thanksgiving. Pumpkin pie was later in the 18th century. My brother-in-law, he's Colton. He's the one who makes pies on Thanksgiving, and I do love a homemade pie. But like you said, there's no real bad pie out there, even if you buy it. But the thing is, and I feel bad saying this, I am much more of a savory person than a sweet person. I focus on the food, and the dessert is an afterthought. And therefore, I'm giving pie
What?
a tier 2.
Wow.
It got eked out.
That means you can't even have pie this coming holiday.
There
No.
There have been some Thanksgivings when I have not had pie. I will eat my meal, and then I will eat. Later I'll get some more leftovers.
You
and
know,
then pie comes
ever
around, I'm
since
like,
you
I'm still
married
full.
into the Yam family, you changed.
You didn't know me before that. But I love pie. I really do. I felt bad putting this at tier 2, but I was looking at what I put on my plate
You
first.
LUV pie. You don't LOV
When
pie.
I think of Thanksgiving, it's like, oh, turkey. Oh, mashed potatoes, gravy. Oh, all good, all good. Oh, yeah, and then pie later.
But pie later, it's like, I feel so sick right now. I've had so much food, but I cannot wait for 3 hours from now when I can eat that banana cream pie.
Banana cream's so good.
It's so good.
That's so good.
Like
But keep in mind, Kent,
I'm in love.
keep in mind-
Banana cream pie, I love you. I wait for the day you say it back.
But here's the thing, Kent. Keep in mind, this is also pie in general.
So
this
I
is
don't-
not just banana cream.
I
This
don't
is not just pumpkin.
actually. There are some pies I avoid, like coconut cream. I don't like because I don't like
love
coconut.
coconut cream.
Cherry pie, not a very common at Thanksgiving, but I also
Save it
don't
for our
like.
pie tiering
Okay,
show.
okay. But generally, even pumpkin pie with the fake whipped cream and everything like that, the Cool Whip on top, I really, really enjoy. It's a straight up tier 1. It's a necessary second meal.
I agree. Tier 1 for me. I will not overstuff of the regular food.
Oh, so you
So a couple hours later.
You save
pace
some room for
yourself.
pie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gotta
Wow.
save room. Yep.
Way to exercise some self-control.
Well, we're
I don't
looking
have
at the
that.
newspapers and planning our Black Friday.
Nice.
Joel,
pie.
there's not a lot that you and I have agreed upon in the last few months.
don't agree now.
But this is definitely one of those things. You and I, like you actually basically said a lot of the same things that I was going to say. There are years where I have walked away without a single piece of pie.
We were recording the Bacon bit, and you stood up and got more pie.
I mean, I like pie.
Maybe it depends on the quality of the pie.
But this is also pie
As a
whole.
collective,
Right.
I would more than likely rather just go back for another plate of the main entrees than get pie.
Yeah, I'm not much of a dessert person in that regard. I'm like, give me the main dish, dessert's secondary. So it feels like tier 2 is an appropriate place for it. Zach, I agree with you.
It's a tier 2 for me. Wow. There we go. I feel like it's a downer, but you know what? I like.
There's a split across the table
I
here.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, just doing a quick look at the list, there are 2 items that all 4 of us gave tier 1.
Only 2?
Only 2. Can you guess?
just
Rolls.
tier 1. Okay.
Rolls was one, and mashed potatoes was the other. Okay. There was a dissenting vote over from Jen about gravy, from me and Joel about pie, from me and Joel about candied yams as well. So there were some that
Were
scored
there any
high.
that we gave all tier 3 to?
2. There was squash and macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
We all gave it tier
Feels
3.
unfair to put macaroni and cheese down with
It's
squash.
a tier 1 food,
Right.
But it's just a weird setting.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's your fun facts about the scoring.
So there you go.
And I know that everyone gets hungry once we do these food shows for some reason, but guess what? In a couple days, or today, or yesterday,
Whenever you're listening,
It was Thanksgiving, so I hope you have food coming up, or leftovers, or a fun Friendsgiving to go to.
Because we hope you had a happy turkey day, or as Jen would say, happy side dish day.
So bitter about that.
Right.
I love side dishes.
Gobble, gobble.
But let us know on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter what your tiering of these 21 foods are. And please keep in mind, you have to have 7 tier 1s, 7 tier 2s, and 7 tier 3s. You can't just give everything a tier 1. That's not fair.
No Jacob rules.
Jen, before we go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or anything you'd like to plug?
Oh, just you guys, really. Thanks for having me out. It's a heavy time with COVID, being in the medical field, and just you guys. I love humor, and you just bring a lot of that.
Aww.
So keep
Every
doing
other
what
week
you're
we
doing.
try.
Love it.
No, thank you,
you
Jen.
guys are great.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for coming. We really do appreciate it, having you here. And not just because you brought us pies and we're insanely full right
Which
now.
they don't even like now,
Right.
apparently.
We like pie. I will have several pieces before we're done today.
I know.
Yes. But thank you. And thank you for being a patron as well. We also appreciate your patronage.
Speaking of patrons, we would like to thank the other patrons. So from the I'm the Listener category, we have Terry Finley, Sweet Bottom Cakes, Jessica Drought, Sean Sandquist, Scott Sprague, Kyler Loves Baconsale, Dr. Jen Kielkowski, Dr. J Dog, as my friend likes to say, Crew Dutler, Braden Winterton, Babs, Alicia Bass, Adrian Gray, Glow, Clendaniel, and Plot Twist Media. And from the Bacon Council, we have Hailstorm, Chris Anderson, Ryan Farron, Stephen Ross, Metz, Jessica Terry, Brian Matson, and the Reverse Listener.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
patrons. We really do appreciate it, and it helps us keep the lights here on at the Bacon Cave.
Thank you, patrons. We love you.
But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter. You can find me performing with Quickwits. They're performing for free on Facebook. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
If you want to find me on Twitter or Instagram, it's at Kenny3DD. If you want to read my movie reviews, it's ShowtimeShowdown.com.
If you'd like to connect with me, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Tumbling Mustard, and maybe I'll tell the story of that one day. Now would also be a really good time to check out tpublic.com/baconsale, because I have been noticing that they have been running sales. So you could get, a lot of times they'll do like a 20 or even a 35% sale on
Wow,
that. So
for holiday shopping?
Yeah, check
Cool.
out tpublic.com/baconsale. Get yourself some Baconsale merch. And then if you'd like to support the show further, you can do so at patreon.com/baconsale.
And don't forget, patrons, we do have our social coming up on December 8th. So look at our Bacon Bits for more details about that, and at patreon.com/baconsale. We'll give more details there as well.
So until next time, listener, we're thankful for you.
Aww. We're basically celebrities now.
Laris.
Jen, what are you doing to us?
She gave us pie.
This is the easiest
the pie.
This is the easiest part.
the pie.
Ooh,
This is
my
easy.
secret is out.
And I had, dang it.
What did you have?
Zack.
Very.
So, J-Dog,
Stop saying it that way. How'd you get saved by Baconsale? Let's just record every show twice, and then you can decide from there. I'm having a rough night.
Drunk Zack on pies.
Hey, buddy.
who knew this had the kind of effect on him?
I like pie.
Am I inherently good?
I feel like he's lawful good. I feel like you're chaotic good. I'm probably like
Chaotic
chaotic neutral, yeah.
yeah.
And Jake is chaotic evil.
Oh, Jen, can I get your voice one more time, please?
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving.
Like, be like this. In fact, guys, stop it. It's way better.
Mary had a little lamb and a side of mashed potatoes. And a little mint jelly.
Also, if you're listening to this episode now, you probably should take your turkey out of the freezer.
Your cousin with the weird fingernails gets in there.
Gets his fingies in there.
No. Fingies? I hate fingies.
Great, he's made of midichlorians.
I don't want too many lumps. Just because you say science doesn't mean it's true.
Hipsters for carrots.
Mom!
Eat your green beans.
Put some great bake casserole on there.
It's meat juice.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Can you have a t-shirt that said slurry is the trick?
Okay.
I didn't date a Canadian, Kent, okay?
This feels wrong, but so right. Oh, baby. You're next. The
That
kind
sounds
of thought.
so creepy. Sorry to all the hams out there. It feels like Christmas and Easter feel like ham holidays. I don't know why. One of my favorite things about funerals.
But I went to a funeral and I was like, man, this is a bummer day. But man, I'm sure excited for those potatoes.
And it does feel like kind of a letdown when funeral potatoes aren't there at a...
You died for nothing.
That's the letdown. That's the letdown. Okay. Well, this just got dark.
We just talked about how we're disappointed by funerals.
Great show.
pie's happening? Bottom of the tubers.
What fun facts do you have about stuffing?
This is over-seasoned garbage.
Joel, it has its own holiday, so enjoy that.
So does the devil.
And Stovetop now sells around 60 million boxes of the devil? Is that Hilton Day?
Hold on, I have to look up Satan National Holiday. I'm married into yams.
This is the Super Bowl of food. Why are we eating green salad?
It's a competition between how much gravy and ranch I can put on my plate. It looks like macaroni and cheese, but it's a liar. Oh, there's the bitter. Don't like that. That
They're
makes
good
sense.
for your bladder.
Mine.
Banana cream pie, I love you. I wait for the day you say it back. I'm still confused about the devil's birthday.